San Diego Chargers, led by quarterback Dan Fouts, have an awesome passing attack. Last time out against Seattle, look at the day he had, over 300 yards. And Fouts, of course, has the great receivers to throw to. Tight end Kellen Winslow, number 80, a favorite target. But don't stop there. There is a new one, the man who succeeded John Jefferson out of Florida and the New Orleans Saints. Wes Chandler is his name. He is an utterly superb all-around athlete. And you'll see him making one of his patented catches right there. But still, there is more. There is the elder statesman, the man who was going to quit football and got talked out of it. He wears number 18. He is the practically precise runner of pass routes. Charlie Joyner right there. So San Diego is tough to contain. But Seattle has its own passing pair, Jim Zorn and Steve Largent. Jim Zorn, who is so mobile, who can be so great, though at times erratic and not so great. Largent always seems to be free. Look at Stevie right there, number 80. But now they've finally gotten a ground game to go with it. Theodis Brown acquired from the St. Louis Cardinals, sparking last week's upset of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there'll be fun tonight. The Chargers against the Seahawks.
We're live from the Kingdome in Seattle, Washington, the Emerald City of the Northwest. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, the defending AFC Western champion San Diego Chargers against the Seattle Seahawks. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by the Buick Motor Division and your Buick dealer, who proudly announced the 1982 Buicks, and by Seiko and your authorized Seiko dealer. This plaque is the sign you can trust to get the best of Seiko. And by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by Lanier Dictating Systems. We help you get those important ideas off your mind and into action.
No more kidding around. Here are the standings. Western Division, AFC, and San Diego fighting for its playoff life. Must win tonight to tie Kansas City to come within a game of division-leading Denver. But watch out for Oakland. And we're ready for the kickoff. Here is the Giffer. Big game.
Jim Zorn will open a quarterback. Exciting, not having the best of years, but he will put on a show for you tonight. Seems to rise to the occasion, and I almost hesitate to say it, but on national television. A very gifted athlete. His counterpart, Dan Fouts, off to another fine year. Not his problem this year, this record setter, now in his 9th year out of Oregon. His problem is the defensive unit of the San Diego Chargers. They were defeated, trounced last week by Cincinnati, whereas the Seattle Seahawks rose to the occasion. They defeated Pittsburgh. The Chargers will kick off, dropping deep. Will be Horace Ivory, activated only today and acquired from New England, the young man who led the NFL in kickoff returns a year ago. He's back there with Eric Lane, a rookie 8th-round draft pick out of Brigham Young, and this will be Ralph Benershka. We are underway, a sellout crowd in the Kingdome. High kick by Benershka. Horace Ivory from the 15-yard line. Ivory hammered out of the 27-yard line, taken there by Jim Laslovic. Again, Jim Zorn will open a quarterback, passing at 60%. 10 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's been sacked 23 times, but he will run around with the football quite often. And the big man that has helped the Seattle Seahawks is Theodis Brown. You saw him in our tease a short while ago. Team with Dan Dornick. They have made a big difference in Seattle's ability to move the ball.
Frank, Seattle's going to have to outscore him tonight. I think you're going to see a lot of play from John Sawyer, the big tight end.
First down at 10, 27-yard line for Seattle. Zorn, first play from scrimmage, fires it out, complete to Theodis Brown. Brown down the sidelines, close to a first down. I believe he has it. Alan Ellis, by the way, is in there defensively in place of Mike Williams, a very gifted cornerback for the San Diego Chargers. Mike Williams suffering a groin muscle. It could be an area which Jim Zorn will operate against tonight. Alan Ellis acquired from the Bears a few weeks ago.
And Keith Ferguson in there instead of Leroy Jones. And San Diego, a very weak team defensively, weakened further, apparently, by both substitutions made necessary through injuries.
Leroy Jones, of course, a hard-charging defensive left end. He has a sore back. They say he could play if he has to. He might have to. Here comes Theodis Brown on the 1st and 10. Steps out of bounds, out over the 40-yard line to the 42 as he picks up 5 quick yards. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
Third-year man from UCLA. Whole new look for this team. And a team good enough, remember, to have upset Pittsburgh, to have upset Denver, and to have upset the hottest team in the league, the New York Jets. There's Jack Patera, the head coach, had a stint with the Giants, a stint with Minnesota, and under fire here, but he holds fast.
2nd down, 5. The ball inside the 43-yard line of Seattle. Dornick gives the single setback, number 33. Play action by Zorn. Zorn flips out of the flat, going to Sam McCullum, throw short, incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
The offensive coordinator of this team, an old friend of Dandy Dunn's, just visited with us in the booth and talked at length with Dandy. Jerry Rome, the quarterback from Tulsa who made history throwing to Howard Twilley, and he said, and he told Dandy, you're going to see a lot of strange things tonight. That's what we look for from Seattle, right, Giff?
Indeed, and the man you just watched pacing the sidelines nervously, as is his characteristic, was Don Coryell, been a head coach between the Cardinals and the Chargers for 8 years, won 4 division titles. He likes to put the ball in the air, so do the Seahawks. 3rd down, 5. Zorn will go up on top. Zorn hit and gets it away in the direction of Dornick. It was Louis Kelcher, the big defensive left end, and John Woodcock. Woodcock, of course, number 90. He has replaced a very tough Fred Dean, who is working wonders now with the San Francisco 49ers.
You know Woodcock's lawyer agent is?
Howard Slusher. Jeff West will punt. West has it up high. Brooks. And the rookie from Auburn does not go with the fair catch. Handles the ball and is nailed in his tracks at the 22-yard line on a 36-yard effort by Jeff West. Hustling down there was Eric Lane, the rookie from Brigham Young. Seattle's will turn it over. San Diego's first possession. San Diego's first possession, and I guess you could say a critical game for the Chargers as they continue to pursue Denver and Kansas City in the AFC West. They'll have to play it somewhat close, whereas Seattle with the 3-7 mark, they're out of it. They can do anything they want to do. 1st down and 10. Muncy, left side. And big Chuck Muncy up close to the 29-yard line. The offensive unit we'll take a look at. Dan Fouts having another great year. They were defeated and trounced last week, as I said earlier, by Cincinnati, yet nevertheless, Fouts had his 351 yards. Wes Chandler, of course, has replaced the departed John Jefferson. Big game last week. 10 receptions, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns for Chandler last week. Muncy got 8. Is 2nd down and 2. We'll see Muncy again. And the big one hurdles to a 1st down out over the 35, and a flag goes down as John Harris moves up to make the tackle defensively for Seattle. John Muncy, by the way, playing with a cast on his left hand, as he has for several weeks. Fractured it 5 weeks ago. The referee tonight is Bob Frederick. A holding call against San Diego. Change defensively for Seattle. Manu Tuiasosopo has moved from the defensive inside position to the right end. And now we'll hear the call from Bob Frederick.
Offensive holding, number 18. 2nd down.
Charlie Joyner, I guess if you get to be 34 years old, still as effective as Charlie Joyner, you're allowed to hold once in a while.
You know about that.
Yes. I know about the aches to go with 34 years and still playing this game. 2nd down and 12. Fouts. Screen to James Brooks.
It really set up nicely, wasn't it?
And Brooks struggles out to the 28-yard line. Good pursuit there defensively for Seattle.
Oh, you see this team move offensively, and sometimes you wonder how they ever lose. Remember opening game against Cleveland? Positively awesome. Their problem, clearly defense. If there's one guy to look at on defense, it's the rookie, Kenny Easley, number 45. Patera's in love with him, thinks he'll be an all-time great. We'll get to him later.
3rd down and 3, 28-yard line of San Diego. Fouts.
Right on the money.
Muncy. And Muncy steps out of bounds, gets the 1st down up over the 40-yard line. Joe Norman over there defensively from his middle linebacking position. Chuck Muncie, thus far in the year, 643 yards, 11 touchdowns, 30 receptions. They use him in any and every way. They like to get the ball to him on the outside. He actually is big, but he runs better on the outside than he does to the inside. He has that long, lopey stride.
He's a horse. What a player.
1st and 10, San Diego, their own 41-yard line. Wes Chandler split right. Brooks in motion. Screen to Brooks. Billy Shields in front blocking. And hustling out was Keith Butler to make the stop. As Brooks is up over the 45-yard line. Gain of 4, it'll be 2nd and 6.
Well, they got decent first down yardage, and Brooks, and we've talked about him before, and so have the others on the other 2 networks, is a tremendous young player. Out of Auburn, part of the William Andrews, Joe Cribbs crowd. Got a great future in this league.
2nd down, long 6. That's Brooks in motion once again. And here comes Muncie. Muncie just explodes over the block of Doug Wilkerson and Billy Shields for another San Diego first down inside of Seattle territory.
Doug Wilkerson, Billy Shields, you mentioned, Frank. They got Sutherland, who they picked up. Doug Sutherland, number 69, in there at the right tackle from Minnesota. Pleased to get him. Hardy is in there alongside that time. Sutherland didn't have a chance. They double teamed him. I don't know how I got into that for him. I've been sitting here for a good long while. Hadn't said anything, so I thought I'd...
Well, we're going to let you get out of it in a moment.
Yeah, I know.
1st down and 10, 47-yard line of Seattle. Bounce, Brooks, 1st down. Brooks down to the 32-yard line as Keith Butler once again was there defensively, but not close enough.
They're moving this ball kind of like you do in a practice drill. You know, you're working on all your different patterns. Going to run a few, throw some, wide open, good protection. Brooks is out in front. The old thing, you just don't cover him with one guy when he comes out of the backfield. That's one of the real advantages of having that speed.
You don't cover the quick ones like Brooks with a linebacker. On 1st down, Brooks up the middle. He runs well there, even though he doesn't have the tremendous size. Picks up 3 yards, hit there by Jacob Green. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
In that sense, Frank, he resembles Dorsett, because smallish though he seems to be, he can go inside as Tony can. He is not the great runner that Tony is, of course, but in that sense, there is a similarity. Unafraid.
Unafraid.
And they're talking it over defensively on the sidelines of San Diego.
Pardee, who's been under a little heat down in San Diego.
Bounce. He fires the ball. It was dropped momentarily and then taken by Charlie Joyner. John Harris hit Joyner, actually knocked him back into the ball. He'd be very close to a 1st down.
There is no man in this league that I respect more than Charles Joyner. He is simply a great, great athlete, a great football player. Every attribute that is given to athletes in this country, that man has.
He'll come out on the short yardage, just less than a yard to go for the 1st down. Charlie Joyner, of course, has been around 13 years. We have all seen him do some really incredible things, and he just continues to get better. He has 43 receptions already this year. The crowd roars. San Diego, 3rd and 1. John Cappelletti, and Cappelletti surging up close to the 20-yard line. He'll have the yardage for the 1st down. San Diego working on the clock. They started deep in their own territory.
Very, very true. Working on the clock. We are now down to 9:25 and counting down in the 1st quarter. And San Diego with a purposeful drive, mixing the run with the pass and doing it beautifully.
Wes Chandler split out to the right. Brooks in motion. Muncie manages to get by a crowd at the line of scrimmage and squirts ahead for about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Russ Washington, the offensive right tackle, and a good one indeed for the San Diego Chargers, is not in action tonight. His place has been taken by number 64, Chuck Laban. And his job will be to handle the toughest pass rusher for the Seattle Seahawks, number 79, Jacob Green. 2nd down, 7. Ball at the 18-yard line of Seattle. Still no score, and here comes Muncy. This time Muncy is hammered. The first man to hit him was Michael Jackson. And then up quickly, Keith Simpson, number 42, and Joe Norman. No gain.
They didn't have much of a chance to develop this time. They pursued it really well. Michael Jackson, considered by the coaching staff to be their top linebacker, played off a little block, made a good move to the outside. Muncy didn't have any help. No blockers with him.
And Seattle will be looking at the pass as the two wide receivers, Chandler and Joyner, split to the left. Fouts looking for Winslow. Has Winslow. And depending upon how they mark it, he will have the first down. Joe Norman was there defensively, and Winslow gets the first down.
He certainly does.
Big man, 6'6", 242 pounds, and he is tough on safeties.
Exceptional athlete in his size and his speed. You saw him get tied up a little bit in the middle, made a good move, turn out to the outside. Hard to stay up, hard to keep up with. Joe Norman, 52, was trying, picked up the first down.
That's Winslow's 49th reception of the season. He led the entire league with 89 a year ago. Here comes Brooks on 1st and 10. And Brooks, this time, runs into Manu Tuiasosopo on the right side.
Superb the way you pronounce that.
He's a superb player. Manu's a heck of a nice guy. Have an opportunity to beat some of these guys in Seattle players. They go to Santa Fe every year and play in a tennis tournament out there. You ought to see Big Manu out there with a Prince racket covering net. He covers it like a gazelle.
Frank wants Seattle to get Mosi Tatupu so he can combine the names.
I'd like that.
2nd down and 9. 1 yard pickup by Brooks. Stops back, looking, fires, complete. Joyner, but a flag is down. Joyner got to the 1 yard line, but again a flag was down, and it was dropped downfield. Fouts is saying it's going to be defensive interference.
Defense offside.
Penalty, doubtless, will be refused. In the meantime, there's Patera. Oh, that jutting chin.
Jutting.
The strength of the face.
How about that one?
Coryell.
Coryell born here in Seattle. Didn't realize that. Went to school here at Lincoln High School, University of Washington.
Number 74 offside.
Homecoming for Coryell.
3rd down.
3rd down. San Diego has rifled off 5 first downs on this drive. 3rd down, goal to go. Muncy. Stroll into the end zone, and San Diego's on the scoreboard. And they used up considerable time, over 8 minutes.
And that's what it was, Giff. A stroll into the end zone.
Had that play well set up, didn't it?
Oh,
It was good
beautiful.
blocking all the way. Good lead block.
You get a chance to see that hand of Muncy's. He's got a cast on it. Says it doesn't bother him, but nevertheless, it must be somewhat of an encumbrance. Here comes Ralph Panershka. Ed Luther, the backup quarterback for the Chargers, is the holder. Bob Rush will be doing the snaps on the placement attempts tonight. Panershka puts it through the uprights, and San Diego takes the lead with 6:35 remaining in the first quarter. 7-0. They took their first possession. 5 first downs later, and Muncy walked it into the end zone. We'll be back. 2 yard line, and they gave us a variety of offense.
They really did. 8 rushes, 7 passes. And that's the way they used up the clock. Perfect balance in the offense.
Panershka hammers it. This is Eric Lane, the rookie from Brigham Young. And Lane stays on his feet, struggles out to the 30-yard line, and Seattle will have their second possession. Ralph Panershka. Superb story. We've told it many times. Young man who was feared in 1979 because of intestinal disease. And not only his career was over, but his life also was in deadly danger. Made a marvelous comeback a year ago. Seattle 1st and 10. At their own 30-yard line, Steve Largent. Top of your screen. Gifted receiver. Recipient of 25% of Zorn's completions. Theodis Brown, right side, and Theodis Brown runs into Keith Ferguson. Louis Kelcher on the left side, picks up a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Seattle must quickly unveil their bag of tricks. They don't have the personnel that San Diego has, but they've got a lot of things going for them. And in spite of the heat Patera's taking, is a respected coach.
Pair of tight ends in. Number 86, Mike Tice, the rookie from Maryland, is in there, along with John Sawyer, number 81. 2nd and 8. Theodis Brown, and Brown stays on his feet. Good running, not close to a first down, perhaps a yard short. Upended by Lyndon King, 57, and Pete Shaw. And it'll be 3rd down and 1. And
this is one of the new formations that Howard mentioned. Jerry Rome was here. This is 2 tight end and 2 wide receivers. As you see that they're going to trap off the outside, try to bring a long trap over to one side. They led that time. Off of that same thing that you'll see, I think, a little pitch to the outside to Theodis Brown. Jerry says it was just a couple of players. Like Theodis has come in, has really done a whole new job on their running game. He thinks they need a little bit more in the offensive line, and that's probably right. They're a few players short.
3rd down 1, 39-yard line. Theodis Brown, and Theodis Brown is hidden behind the line of scrimmage. It was Alan Ellis who was filling in for Mike Williams, who made the big play for San Diego.
Really nice hustle, wasn't it? Went right over the top of that block.
What's bad for Seattle is twice now they've had the ball and they couldn't move it. And they only had a half yard to go for the first down.
Here's Jeff West. His first effort of the night, a 36-yarder. They went to this man, James Brooks. Dangerous return man, averaging nearly 13 yards a return. West, this time he turns it over and will take Brooks back to his 21-yard line. And Brooks dances around, works his way out to the 28-yard line on a 46-yard punt by Jeff West. So we have 4:19 remaining here in the first quarter, and San Diego will have only their 2nd possession of the game, and they lead 7-0. Back in the Kingdome in Seattle. Nice night inside. It's been terrible weather here for the past couple of days. Some empty seats because I'm sure there is concern that another storm is to arrive tonight. On 1st and 10. Mix up in the backfield, but Muncie turns nothing into something as Jacob Green takes Muncie out over the 30-yard line, close to the 32, a gain of about 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Fouts was 7 for 7 on his first drive for 63 yards.
Not only a big game for San Diego in terms of the standings, but in terms of their own self-belief. Trying to come back from that trouncing by Cincinnati, which has been beautifully developed by Forrest Gregg.
2nd down 7. Joyner in motion. Fouts is back. Lays it up. His first incompletion of the ball game. Attempt there to Wes Chandler. Wes Chandler picked up and covered out there nicely by Kenny Easley.
Little double coverage over there. I think Kenny really threw that one away. He didn't come off of it at the line of scrimmage in an audible. Occasionally a quarterback can get in a situation like that. They'll have it on a first count or first sound, and you leave yourself in a situation where you can't audible. He threw right into a double coverage and just threw it away.
Well, don't throw it where Kenny Easley is. He's had 15 deflections this year. No intercepts, but they're learning about this kid.
3rd down 7. Flags are down. You saw the Seattle movement, and a flag. The whistle is also blown before Fouts fired the ball to Charlie Joyner. He took quite a shot.
He threw that ball, and he did take a shot, but that was, again, a great throw right between 2 defensive backs.
Interesting, isn't it? The way in the ultimate clutch, Fouts will throw.
Full start offense, 57.
Oh, Seattle with a drawn offside.
A break for Seattle. And in the clutch, he will throw to Charlie Joyner. So secure, as he did when he brought them to the 1-yard line and set up the Muncie stroll into the end zone.
He also does a good job, Howard, going to Kellen Winslow, which you can certainly understand his reasoning behind that, because Kellen's the kind of guy who can really do it all.
Ed White drew the Seattle defense off. Following the penalty, it's 3rd down and 12. The ball at the 27-yard line of San Diego. Fouts in a crowd, fires, and it's complete. It's Wes Chandler with a brilliant catch that takes him back into Seattle territory.
That's throwing a ball on the break. When you sit back as a quarterback and you look down and you see all defensive jerseys, you've got to have a lot of confidence that that receiver is going to make the break.
I think
he's
you'll
shoved
find
over the other side. Here comes Chandler in, Frank.
It's one that Kenny easily should have been there with.
Well, somebody should have. He hit right into the seams back in there. But that was a well-thrown ball, a little timing, anticipation. I think Wes Chandler is terrific.
What an athlete.
New Orleans, and I'm sure Archie Manning would be the first to tell you what fun it was to throw to him.
On 1st and 10, this is Muncy. Wilkinson out in front, and Muncy inside the 45 to the 43-yard line before being upset there by Keith Simpson. He gets a quick 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6. So the big play on 3rd down and 12. Fouts going to Chandler. Chandler with a tremendous catch. Chandler has 42 receptions on the year. He's now 43. He has 26 with San Diego. He had 17 with New Orleans before the big trade. Here's Muncy, upended this time at the 40-yard line. Mike White, who's filling in for Robert Hardy, a defensive left tackle for Seattle, makes the stop.
Mike White just kind of worked his way into that defensive line. Hardy is helping.
Mike White is a player. He had been a 4th-round draft choice for Cincinnati. Good pickup from Albany State. Cincinnati has a way of getting people like that. They didn't need him, and he has helped this team a lot.
3rd down and 3. Fouts. Throwing over Muncy and in front of Joyner. It'll be 4th down. With 1:40 remaining in the first quarter, San Diego will punt for the first time tonight.
I'd like your philosophy about that play.
I would say that would be a foul-up somewhere. That was a foul-up. Miscommunication within the organization. Muncy pulled up, it appeared to me, and Danny evidently thought he was going to continue out on a shoot route. Nobody was there. Luckily, neither was a Seattle player.
That's Paul Johns, a rookie from Tulsa, a free agent. He's in the middle of 2 other Seattle Seahawks, Kenny Easley and Gregory Johnson. They're going to guess with Roberts, and he is looking for the left side. And it will bound into the end zone. Touchback. Seattle will have possession at their own 20-yard line. So Dan Fouts stalemated on his 2nd possession of the night. And Seattle trailing 7-0 with 1:30 remaining on the first quarter. Will be back in action.
Tonight's your anniversary.
That it is.
I see you're taking the Buick Skylark.
Indeed.
Very appropriate, rich styling.
And they were pointing that out to my friend on my right, Mr. Close-Out. 1st down and 10, 20-yard line of Seattle. Zorn. Largent is open, and Zorn overthrows. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Jim's been a little off tonight. He was low on a couple of passes the first series. Largent was open that time. You can see his completions, 1 out of 4 for 10 yards. That was his first pass, first play of the night. Flip off to Theodis Brown to the outside. Rome feels that in order for them to move the ball, they're going to have to do a lot of counter moves, and out of Zorn, rather than go back and set in that pocket, they don't feel they have the strongest offensive line. I think we'll see more of the sprint outs, kind of the bootlegs, move out to the outside. And Jerry feels that they can work that tight end, Sawyer. So we'll wait and see if what he told me is true.
They come back with the 2 tight ends. Mike Tice, number 86, John Sawyer, number 81. 2nd down and 10. The single setback, Theodis Brown. And he gets the quick toss. Brown turns the corner. A flag goes down right in front of Theodis Brown. Pete Shaw took him out of bounds, but again, the flag is down.
Wonder if it was face mask.
Well, always run a chance. They had Paul Johns that time as a wide receiver. He came back, blocked, back down on the end man on the line of scrimmage. It could have been something like that.
How about holding?
Well, that could have been that
That's
too.
what it was.
Could have been a lot of those things. It was a no-no.
Bob Horn comes over to visit with Bob Frederick. He'll give him the particulars, and he'll mark it off.
Offensive holding, number 64, 2nd down.
Ron Essink, left tackle, moving out in front of Theodis Brown. Unfortunately, he was holding right in front of the head linesman. 2nd down and 20. Largent split to the right. Sam McCullum to the left, the 2 wide receivers for Seattle. Zorn sprinting out. And he gets the ball to Largent. And Largent gets back to the original line of scrimmage, +1. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
I have this little theory working here. You see all these special teams and special plays they keep sending in. I think pretty soon we're going to see a special quarterback that's going to come in. That's going to be that running type quarterback that can throw a little bit. They'll bring him into the 2-minute situations, the shotgun situation. Zorn would be terrific, I think, in that kind of an area where he's let him loose a little bit, run to the side, throw, have fun, do wonderful things.
3rd down and 9. Largent in motion. Zorn has the time, gets the ball to Paul Johns, the rookie from Tulsa. He doesn't hold on, and Seattle will have to punt it away again.
There are 9 rookies on the Seahawks team. It's very hard to put a team together and make it effective with 9 rookies. The exception, of course, the Dallas Cowboys, who have 9 rookies, but in the beautifully integrated and coaching system of the remarkable Landry, they can make it work.
Jeff West punting. It's high, and James Brooks calls for the fair catch at his own 47-yard line. He was almost crowded out of that. But San Diego will have good field position. And now a flag is down at the line of scrimmage. See so many flags on the punts and the kickoffs. First, the blocking rules put into effect a couple of years ago, basically to protect the players.
Defensive holding before the kick.
Defensive holding before the kick. Seattle will retain the football.
Automatic 1st down.
Tough one.
What a break.
Yes, sir.
This has been the 3rd sequence of downs that Seattle has had. Let's listen.
We have a defensive holding before the ball was kicked. It'll be a 1st down.
Seattle retains the ball at their own 26-yard line with 1:02 remaining in the 1st quarter. They're down 7-0.
Minute 2 left in the 1st quarter. 3 sequences of downs, and Seattle has not been able to do anything. Now this break, let's see.
Darning, single setback. Zorn, Largent is there. Largent has the ball. 1st down at midfield.
It's not a surprise.
But a combination may have been all the way back to 76. Both of them tried out with other teams. Largent with Houston, Zorn with Dallas. And what a combination they've been here.
Allen Ellis is the guy that is the newest member of that secondary. It's not a surprise to see him check him out pretty early. Largent has beaten him a couple of times tonight. That time the ball was right on the money. Picked up a 1st down.
Largent's 51st reception of the year. As I mentioned earlier, he has been the recipient of 25% of all Zorn's passes during his career since 76. He's accounted for 31% of Zorn's yardage. Largent in motion. Theodis Brown. Big hole right side.
Yes, sir.
Good running, Theodis Brown inside the 25-yard line before Pete Shaw drops him.
Oh, big hole that time.
Theodis Brown is big, 6'2", 225, but he's also quick. Watch this.
Little running room off to the right side. Lead block. Dornick follows those guards. Edwin Bailey, number 65, got out in front, causing some problems. Theodis made some good cuts.
And the 1st quarter expires as the Seahawks fans have their first opportunity to shout their approval. We'll be back in the Kingdome in just a moment. Again, the 2nd quarter. Theodis Brown, 26-yard pickup. 1st down and 10. The ball at the San Diego Chargers, 24-yard line. Chargers on top, 7-0.
Interesting offensive set they have right there.
Got all their folks together, and now they've put Largent in motion. Theodis Brown, another big opening, and Theodis Brown just pulling forward inside the 15, down around the 12-yard line.
That kid can move the football. We told you that the opening of the telecast. He was the spearhead of the upset of the Pittsburgh Steelers a week ago. He's changed the whole look of this Seattle team, and now he's having his due.
I'll tell you, his first big day, Howard, was against the Jets when they beat them 19-3. rambled for 104 yards. He's turned this team around.
Tremendous day at Shea Stadium. Look at the differential in time of possession there. Total yards. All the rushing yards that Seattle has are owned by Theodis Brown. And the game grows interesting. We said Seattle had a lot of things they could do.
One of them was a timeout. Zorn not liking the personnel he had, not liking the defense he saw. He decided not to waste a play. Deep in scoring position, he calls timeout. He'll move over and talk it over with the coaching staff. We'll be back. To his favorite receiver, Steve Largent. He's 3 of 7 on the night. The offensive weapon for the Seahawks thus far, Theodis Brown. What a difference Brown has made. Teaming up with Dan Dornick. Fine blocker. Now it is Theodis Brown. Single setback. First down and 10. The ball near the 12-yard line of San Diego. Brown once again. This time he's upended. Submarining in there. Lyndon King, a big, strong side linebacker, number 57. Gain of 1. It'll be second down and 9.
Theodis Brown has brought back to Seattle what they had a few years back, when as an expansion team, incredibly, they had a 9-7 record. 2 marvelous running backs, Sim and Smith. Smith has not been able to get it back from knee surgery, and Sim, of course, in his own right, a great human interest story who can play football no more.
It's second down and 9. Zorn has the protection. Look out. Zorn turns it back inside, runs into trouble, mainly in the form of John Woodcock, number 90, and Pete Shaw, number 44. Zorn gets just about the 7-yard line. It'll be third down and 5.
Pete Shaw made a good reaction from his secondary position that time to close in quickly when he saw Zorn pass the line of scrimmage. Looked like Jimmy might pick up more yardage than he did there for a moment.
Terry Rome, the offensive coordinator, is called to play down to Howard Mudd on the sidelines. He sends the player in. He talks quickly to Zorn. This will be the result. Third and 5.
Look out.
Here comes the pressure, the blitz. Zorn hurries the ball out to Dornick, who thought perhaps it might have been a lateral, but it was not. It's incomplete. It'll be 4th and 5.
I think he could have scored on that had he caught the ball. He had that one set up. Now then, we got some real action coming into the game. Efren Herrera from Guadalajara, who can do it all. A runner, a passer, a
we have
receiver.
seen over the years Efren Herrera used as, well, he's become so popular as a receiver, now they use him as a decoy.
He may be the best wide receiver in this league.
They have him a little fake field goal set up.
Keep in mind that Zorn is the holder. This will be a 25-yard attempt. Herrera puts the Seahawks on the scoreboard. With 12:43 remaining in the first half. So the first offensive showing of Seattle results in 3 points, a 25-yard field goal. Efren Herrera. We'll be back in a moment. The rookie first-round draft pick from Auburn, dangerous return man. Hasn't been able to break one off for the Chargers, but he did it frequently at Auburn. Herrera, who has just hit 25 yards out, will kick off. High kick by Herrera. It hangs Brooks up at the 7-yard line. Big opening. And Brooks tried to lateral and loses the ball. It looked like an attempted lateral, and Seattle has the football. James Brooks, and I believe he was trying to lateral the ball. He loses it, and Seattle has possession.
They had a big opening here. Brooks made some nice cut. Right there. Slipped out of the arms. Number 37, Eric Lane. There's he's trying to. Oh, that was really a bad mistake. Just trying to
Really was.
pitch it away, right? Pete Shaw was not even paying attention.
So where San Diego could have turned the momentum because Seattle did not come empty, they got the field goal. San Diego would have had great field position. Instead, Seattle continues now with the momentum and has superb field position.
There was a holding on the kick return, which will be refused. The ball was recovered by Seattle, and the touchdown is there.
There is an injured Seattle Seahawk down on the sidelines. We have not been able to identify who it is. There it is, number 55. That, of course, is Michael Jackson, outstanding linebacker, and I believe he was the man who recovered the ball. The reverse angle of it, and you'll see how James Brooks, I think just a rookie mistake. He tried to lateral that ball. He saw Pete Shaw there.
I think you're right. He made a mistake. That is Jackson that covered the ball. Looks like he just fell on it. May have knocked the breath out of it. I bet that's what he did. Nobody else hit him.
I must say that's a judicious use of the reverse angle. That's where it comes in.
Comes in handy when you can see things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Seattle, they have the football at the 44-yard line of the Chargers. Jim Zorn brings them up. Dornick is the single setback, number 33. Play action by Zorn. Looking for Sawyer, the big tight end, and Pete Shaw was there, incomplete.
And that's what Dunn was talking about earlier, the use of Sawyer. The ball was underthrown. That could have been a score.
Oh, shot up Michael Jackson on the sideline. They're still attending to him. Actually, what Rome was saying, Sawyer, as you saw then, doesn't really have great speed. They're hoping to open him up across the middle to pull the safeties up a little bit. And what speed they have comes from the outside. Johns has got a little speed. McCullum's got some speed. As many catches as Largent has made, he's really not known as a speedster.
On second down and 10. Play action by Zorn once again. Zorn looks out to the rookie, Paul Johns, and it's complete. Johns has the first down right in front of Allen Ellis. But one might have suspected Seattle would work tonight. Again, Ellis replacing the very gifted Mike Williams.
Free agent pick from Tulsa, Jerry Rum's old school. They have 3 players from Tulsa.
Hey, that's a good move. He drove Ellis back,
came back
to the
in,
sideline,
closed it up.
The first down, 33-yard line of San Diego.
Kept his feet inbounds nicely.
Did.
Jimmy Webb has come in for San Diego. Already hurting at the defensive line is John Woodcock. Number 90 is limped off. On the first down, Zorn again. Going deep again to the tight end is Mike Tyson. The flag is down. The crowd is saying that Pete Shaw was the guilty Charger.
6'7", 235-pound rookie from Maryland. A quarterback turned tight end. Can you believe that one?
Defensive pass interference, number 44, touchdown.
Pete Shaw, who only goes about 5'11", he was giving away 8 inches to Mike Tice.
Shaw coming in. Tice is keeping his position. And Shaw's position interfered, of course, with Tice's opportunity to draw in that reception.
So what looked like was going to be just an absolute rout as San Diego took the opening kickoff, went from their own 22, throwing the ball, running the ball with ease, and now all of a sudden Seattle is threatening to take the lead. They're down 7-3. This is Theodis Brown cutting back, using his bulk to the 2-yard line.
He sneaked in there for that one,
didn't he?
That play was designed to go a little bit further on the outside. The crackback blocker missed his man. Theodis just kind of sneaked in there.
Put that body down. Low center of gravity and picked up yardage.
Not bad. 55 yards, 9 carries.
Second down, goal to go, and John Woodcock, number 90, defensively for San Diego, is back in at right end.
Theodis, of course, from St. Louis Cardinals, and was rooming with Otis Anderson, and they had the radio show Otis and Theodis. Now, wouldn't that be a good one?
No, not too shabby.
I'd tune in for that.
Theodis Brown following Dornick over the left side, and Seattle's on the scoreboard again.
Nicely done.
I'll tell you, who's doing a job out there is Dan Dornick, the former Giant, now a medical school student at Washington.
Dornick, number 33, leading Theodis Brown into the end zone. Watch again.
Good lead block. Bob Newton, number 78, punching away in there. They came off from the left side. Ron Essick was there. Had a nice hole.
Seattle now is short 1 man. Zorn signals over to the sidelines, and we'll get the kicking unit back out onto the field.
That's a little better than being one man over, as Detroit was when they kicked the field goal and apparently beat Dallas, but more about that at halftime.
Herrera through the uprights, and Seattle is on top. They lead 10-7 with 11:27 remaining here in the first half. Otis Brown doing the bulk of the work for the Seattle Seahawks.
Peeking through that face net? Not at all, huh?
Brooks from his goal line.
That's right.
And Brooks out to the 17-yard line, and Seattle all charged up. They were all over Brooks.
So Jackson back in.
I'll tell you one thing. College football is hot up here in the Northwest, and this Saturday you're going to see some college football coming your way here on ABC. A regional doubleheader beginning at 12 o'clock Eastern will be headlined by a critical game in the Big Ten race, Ohio State versus Michigan, plus reports on the Michigan State versus Iowa game. Again, the Rose Bowl considerations there. Then 3:45 Eastern, the second half of that doubleheader, USC versus UCLA, and we'll keep track of Washington versus Washington State. Saturday on NCAA college football, and here comes James Brooks. Right side. It's all those teams under consideration for the Rose Bowl.
San Diego is really a conundrum in this league. At one moment, as you look at that coach, Coryell, they can appear, as we suggested, awesome. And then the next moment, they can make every critical mistake and not have the defense to contain the opponent. They should be better than they are.
Second down and 6. Good defensive play.
Oh, yeah.
The intended receiver was Winslow, and Keith Butler was there.
Good play by Butler. Winslow had him by a step. Good reaction. Kept his position well. Stuck his arm out and knocked it down. There go Keith.
You say that about San Diego, Howard. What do you say, too, about Seattle? They won one game out of their first 7. Then they go in and knock off the Jets, one of the fine, strong teams in football today. Then last week they knock off the Pittsburgh Steelers, who yesterday knocks off Atlanta. It's that kind of a year.
Parity.
And it's fun to watch. James Brooks. And Brooks has the first down, scampering out close to the 30-yard line in the arms of Joe Norman.
Big play for San Diego. They had to reestablish offensive momentum, and maybe now they can do it.
It's not hurt. I think that's just some broken equipment. See him working on the shoulder pads.
#1 draft pick out of Auburn. He's having a fine year, too.
They brought him that time, Frank, the last pass batter, from the opposite side of the backfield. You have to have terrific speed to start over the right side and swing all the way to the left. Hard for a linebacker to come across there and cover.
First down is at the Chargers' 30-yard line. Cappelletti does not have the speed to get outside. He's taken quickly by Michael Jackson right at the line of scrimmage.
They were right about Jackson. He has developed beautifully all over the field. Great range for a linebacker.
Cappelletti out. In comes James Brooks. Bounce. You're not calling the kind of game that he likes to call. He likes to put that thing in the air. We'll work on the run when we're ahead and running out the clock. That's his philosophy. Kellen Winslow in motion. Bounce looking for Winslow. He's right there. Winslow looking for the first down. He'll be short at the 39-yard line by a yard. It'll be 3rd and 1. And again, Michael Jackson in there defensively for Seattle.
Kellen went in. He went in motion that time. You'll see that Keith Butler is going to go with him. Tries to hit him at the line of scrimmage. Misses him. Maybe you won't see that, as a matter of fact. But anyway, that's what happened. He's there by himself. Winslow catches the ball, comes back down. He comes back into Michael Jackson's territory.
Michael Jackson reminds me of Tommy Jackson of Denver.
3rd down, less than a yard.
They get 3 more, they can have the Jackson 5. Then they got a real deal.
Here's Muncie. Muncie easily the first down and close to breaking off a big one. John Harris takes him. The first down is at the 43-yard line of San Diego as we look at Louis Kelcher.
That is the huge one from SMU, Louis Kelcher.
How about those ponies?
Maybe they could go
They
get
got a good team, yeah.
a shoulder pad breaks. They could get a saddle and put on either shoulder. He is a big man. 280, and he smiles when he tells you that.
He's more. They don't dare weigh him.
On the first down, this is James Brooks. Loses his guard, Wilkinson. He was cut off, and Brooks gives up the football.
Again, the key mistake.
Michael Jackson was the one that hit Brooks first. Easily, I believe, is on the bottom of the pile.
Sutherland was down there, too. That ball just popped up out of his hands, came right back in the middle of a whole bunch of Seahawks. Let's look at it again. Brooks goes wide, and there's nothing out there. Jackson's the one that turns him back in. Grabs that ball.
Great play.
He did pull it out.
Jackson pulled it out. You saw that?
Did you see Jacob Green, though, strip Doug Wilkerson, the blocker that should have been in front, and that made the play?
He did. Jacob Green did a heck of a job.
So Brooks turns it over exactly where he turned it over on the kickoff that led to a Seattle touchdown a few moments ago. First and 10. Zorn. Largent stays on his feet, struggles to the first down at the 32-yard line. Willie Buchanan defensively for San Diego.
Zorn is now a different quarterback from what he was at the start of the game. He's totally confident. He's got his touch. And as for Steve Largent, as we look at him, this was a man who was drafted fourth by Houston. I still wonder how Seattle ever got him in a trade for an 8th-round draft choice.
Hey, really, it was Jerry Rohn who was his coach at Tulsa, and he knew the talent of this young man.
Exactly. He knew he was a Twilly and maybe a little faster.
First down, Seattle, 33-yard line. Theodis Brown. And the big one lumbers on. To the 20. First down again for Seattle, upended by Pete Shaw.
What a game Brown is having. He's over 60 yards already. He's got a big thing to compete with from yesterday. Otis Anderson and Joe Delaney. Delaney with 193 yards for Kansas City. Anderson over 170. But Brown is on his way.
Pete Shaw made a good move to come in there and finally knock his feet out from under. You're right. He just rambled through there. Knock it over, folks.
67 yards for Theodis Brown thus far with 6:59 remaining in the first half. Seattle in front 10-7. Largent was the intended receiver. Incomplete. Defensively, once again, Allen Ellis as Zorn continues to work on the youngster. Allen Ellis.
He had what he wanted, Frank. Had him one-on-one with Largent. That ball was thrown a little bit high and behind him, as they say. But he had Ellis out there. Largent coming across the middle, and it was man-to-man cover.
Louis Kelcher came in here. Frank gave an interview, said it's up to us now. No more mistakes. No more giving away games. We've got to win this game or else we may be lost for the year.
Second down, 10. Brown. This time, Theodis is captured by Gary Johnson sliding down along the line of scrimmage. A gain of a couple. It'll be third down and 7. Howard mentioned some of the great performances yesterday. You'll be seeing some of them on our halftime highlights. You'll also be seeing, well, what we thought might be kind of interesting, sort of highlights of what has transpired over the past 12 years of Monday Night Football. We're going to give you one of the great moments.
One of many, of course.
Of course.
Many.
Third and long. David Hughes, a rookie running back number 46, is in the lineup for Seattle. And Hughes was the intended receiver. It would have been a difficult catch, and it would have been short of the first down.
Well, what had happened to Hughes was, as you saw, he lost his balance. Here comes Herrera. This should be interesting.
Does that not look like Fernando Valenzuela? Now, you tell me the truth. Really.
Don't cry for me, Tom Lasorda.
Telling you. Did Fernando have a great year? Don't cry for me, Lasorda.
Efren Herrera on. Jim Zorn is the holder. Art Kuhn is the snapper for Seattle. But Seattle does a variety of things out of their field goal positioning. This will be a 36-yard attempt. This is one of them.
Here we go. Look out.
Sherman Smith. They work on it. We told you they'll do many things. Touchdown, Seattle. It was Sherman Smith with a little shovel pass from Zorn.
But the key was the decoy they sent out in Efren Herrera.
He is marvelous.
You used to do this, Howard, didn't you, in Sandlot Ball?
No, I did it on Eastern Parkway the year we beat the St. John's Place kids.
I got you. Well, that was one of the things Jerry says, we're going to do everything tonight. Says, man, we've got fake field goals, fake punts, reverses, bootlegs. Says, we're throwing it out. Pardee is not happy with that.
You know why? I'm sure that special team of San Diego was told to look out for anything and everything, because Seattle is noted for this, and Pardee is upset.
Looks like the
what a great play.
Flag is down.
Jack Pardee and Jim Wagstaff have been receiving a considerable amount of heat in San Diego. They were going to supposedly come in and revamp that defense for the Chargers.
The defense was offside. The point is good. There will be a 5-yard penalty on the kickoff.
Look at Jack Patera and Efren. He said, "Boy, he did it just like we threw it up."
They ought to put that formation in and use it from anywhere.
See Sherman Smith, number 47. Efren, of course, is drawing them all away. The little shovel pass went right in front of Lyndon King, the linebacker. Nobody's there.
So easy. So easy. That's great.
Crowd love it. Capacity crowd, over 64,000. We'll be back. Sherman Smith going in. Out the fake field goal attempt. Penalty has been assessed against San Diego, so Efren Herrera will kick off from his 40-yard line. James Brooks has dropped deep. Already the victim of a couple of turnovers tonight. James Brooks will be squeezing the football. There's one of your great decoys.
I'll tell you, he took a couple of defensive guys with him.
Sure did. High and deep. Brooks near the goal line. And upended. And that's what a good, high, deep kick will do for you. Brooks gets it out to the 11-yard line before he's taken by Kevin Turner.
And that's what a fired-up team will do for you. Now, you just saw that great play with Sherman Smith carrying in. You can do that as a coach when you're 3-7. And Patera knows it. And it can work, and he can be a hero. Now look at San Diego. 8-0 against Seattle in their career history. But in the meantime, Patera loves it, and so does the crowd. And he cements his job.
First down and 10 from the 11-yard line. Bounces back. Kellen Winslow comes up short of the first down by about 1.5 yards as Michael Jackson again is there defensively for the Seahawks.
And things are happening in this league, Frank. We saw Bud Grant. Don, you weren't with us that night, but it was a stroke of genius. He put in the 2-minute hurry-up offense with 8 minutes to go, and a brilliant Denver defense was dumbfounded, and he almost stole the game.
Wow.
That helps the game. New things.
Second down, 1.5 yards. Joyner in motion. James Brooks finds the hole, stays on his feet, still on his feet, and gets out over the 25 for a first down at the 26.
What is this?
Do you think it's not tough out in the big leagues?
What do they call their Seahawk cheerleaders?
Hawkettes? No, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sure we'll know very shortly.
Pretty.
How about Seagulls?
Good.
First and 10, San Diego. Muncy breaks the tackle. Look out. He'll go all the way easily.
Goodbye.
Oh, the big man has the speed. 73-yard touchdown. There are no flags. He broke 2 tackles at the line of scrimmage and was gone.
Oh, have we got a game tonight?
He did break 2 tackles, and it's just, I can't believe a guy that big can be that fast also. You're going to see stumbling around in here. Didn't look like much going. Sutherland being blocked fairly well. 1 miss, and now he's gone. Kenny Easley, number 45, you see take out after him. Didn't close any ground at all.
Lost ground.
So just like that, San Diego strikes back. 73-yard touchdown by Chuck Muncy. What a nice man, if you're a quarterback, to turn around and find in your backfield.
We were talking about the yardage gained by Theodis Brown. Muncy already over 100 with that one.
Benershka through the uprights. 106 yards for Muncie thus far. And the Chargers have brought it to within 3 points. We'll be right back. Muncie just went for the longest run of his career.
And he loves Monday Night Football. A chance to show the world just how good he is.
So Muncie has 106 yards, his best thus far of his career. We saw it against Cleveland. He had 161 yards, our opening game of the year. Bernishka hits it. This will be Horace Ivory. Horace and Ivory with a fine return out to the 39-yard line. A young man who led the NFL in kickoff returns a year ago with New England has brought Seattle to good field position.
It's a good wedge set up over here in front of him this time. See a lot of Seahawks getting in the way. Going to throw some good blocks. Here they are. Lap. They knocked him down. He had a good wall, good hole to go through.
But this guy knows how to use those holes.
Oh, yeah.
His record proves it.
Need to get him healthy. He's had a pulled hamstring. Hurt it again. He'll work in, play a bit more.
That's David Hughes, a rookie from Boise State, a single setback, and it looks as though maybe a Seahawk pulled off one of the charges. It was John Woodcock, and the Seahawks are already backing up.
Yeah, Ron Esnick was...
Start offense number 64.
Ron Esnick right in front of John Woodcock. John Woodcock, of course, filling big shoes on the right side for the Chargers. Fred Dean, as we mentioned, traded, contract problems for a couple of years, traded to San Francisco where he is playing all-pro football there.
The way it turned out, the loss of Dean hurt the Chargers far more than the loss of Jefferson. No derogation of John, great receiver, but Chandler is just a super athlete.
First down, 15. Zorn. This is Hughes. And Hughes gets back to the original line of scrimmage, picking up perhaps one. It'll be 2nd and 9. Woody Lowe was there defensively for the Chargers. There's a second-round draft pick out of Boise State. A lot of things out there, mostly blocking for a great running back named Cedric Minter.
There's Dan Fouts. Views things a little differently now, so quickly back in the game, so unexpectedly.
Having a typical night. 11 of 14. 2nd and 9. Ball resting right at Seattle's 40-yard line. We have 3:30 remaining in the first half. Over the left side.
One of the oldest plays in football. I remember one of the first things I can remember is that's the old straight ahead dive off to the left. Still a good one. You can get Woodcock a little bit spread out in that way, and they just go right straight at him. Straight ahead blocking, nothing really fancy at all. Picked up 4 or 5 yards.
Sherman Smith, who again, as we mentioned earlier, troubled with a knee injury from last year. 3rd down, 6. San Diego showing blitz. Now they drop out of it. Zorn rifles it out into the flat. It's complete right in front of number 28, Willie Buchanan, to Steve Rabel.
Steve Rabel
gets the first down at the 46-yard line. You don't see much of Steve Rabel, but he makes some fine moves. He just doesn't play because of Largent and McCullum.
Real favorite in the area. Steve does an awful lot. Got radio, TV shows, does a lot of the MC. Did a nice job. The banquet, I was up here this past year. He had a collapsed lung earlier in the year. Got hit in the back in the preseason. The lung collapsed. He hasn't been able to play as much this year as he has in the past.
He gets the first down inside San Diego territory at their 46. Zorn, all kinds of time, and now he unloads to Largent, but Edwards was there.
Got a flag.
And a flag is down. It could have been a late hit on Jim Zorn. Leroy Jones with a delayed rush came in and really hammered Zorn.
It was exactly that. Another big break for the Hawks.
A big one being marked off. And here's our referee, Bob Frederick.
Defense, number 68, roughing the passer. First down.
See the very end of it. The ball is thrown. He had released the ball. Jones comes in. Didn't really hit him that. That's another one of those judgment calls that they're coming out with, trying to protect the quarterback.
Do you like the Seahawk as a bird, Frank?
Well, not so many of them when they hover high overhead.
Why would you say that?
1 second to the 2-minute warning.
Evil.
There's Largent in motion. And this is Sherman Smith. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage. First by Leroy Jones. Gets back to the line of scrimmage as we get the 2-minute warning. It'll be 2nd down and 10. And the defensive unit will confer with their San Diego coaches. And Jim Zorn will move over to the sidelines. And we'll be back after this word from the National Football League. The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the Chargers' Ralph Benershka and the National Football League. And we're back at the Kingdome in Seattle. Good football game. Lots happening here tonight. We have 1:57 remaining in the first half. Seahawks on top, 17-14. They're not surprising us. They do a lot of things. We usually catch them late in the year, and they can afford to do a lot of things. But for San Diego, this is not fun and games. A deadly serious game for them as they continue to pursue Denver and Kansas City in the AFC West. Zorn fires it out to McCullum, and
I think he caught that.
No. I want to see that.
Well, all right.
McCullum is trying to say politely and nicely, I had it. Let's take a look.
Let's look and see.
Wait a minute. Look at this.
He caught it.
He caught that ball.
The roar of the crowd is because there is a replay at the end zone, and it was fairly obvious
He caught the ball.
that Sam McCullum not only felt he was right, had every reason to believe he was right.
I think what he saw was the bounce off of his arm, and rather than the referee assumed that was the ground, but I think it hit his arm.
Oh, he caught the ball.
3rd down and 10.
It's a mistake.
Zorn, he has Largent. Can he get it to him? Flag will go down, and it will work against the rookie Wyatt Henderson, who was totally turned around, came back, collided with Largent, and it will be 1st down, goal to go, Seattle.
Tough thing for a kid like Henderson to be able to pick all of that up. The ball was underthrown.
Defensive pass interference, number 32. 1st down and goal.
Go ahead. How many times do you see that, though, with a receiver?
Well, Henderson's made a number of mistakes like that this year. They believe in the kid because he has tremendous speed and he's made some great plays. He's a little bit like Everson Walls of Dallas. He'll give you some and he'll take some away. But right there, he hurt his team. Terrible.
29-yard advantage on the pass interference. 1st down, goal to go, Seattle. They already lead 17-14. They're threatening again.
44 yards of this drive has been picked up on penalties.
Leotis Brown hammering over the left side. He'll be short of the end zone.
15 yards earlier for roughing the passer.
That's Jack Pardee, the defensive coach for the Chargers.
A beleaguered man under tremendous print pressure in San Diego.
Turned it over to he and Jim Wagstaff. Come in and says, okay, look, you guys know something about defense. Coryell loves his offense. Maybe, if not the innovator, certainly one of the innovators with the pass-oriented offenses that we see today.
And in the AFC, after 10 games, they are 13th of 14 teams defensively. They're dead last against the pass. That's uncharacteristic of the Chargers over the past few years. 2nd and goal. Brown, easy 6.
Good blocking out there that time, wasn't it?
Oh, it was.
Look at Jack Patera. The face. Imperturbable. No change of expression.
Stoic.
Of course.
I'll tell you, he's got a great sense of humor, though, if you get to know him. And you know him. Well, we all do. He is quite a character.
Believe me, I know. From when he was with the Giants.
Ed Bailey, one guard, Bob Newton. The other one came out, led that surge for the touchdown. Cleared the way quite nicely.
Benershka for the conversion. 57 seconds remaining in the half. A charge that is offside. The penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. So Seattle, and it looked like they were going to be swarmed under as San Diego, with their very first possession of the night, moved from their 22-yard line for 6. Here's the call.
Defense number 28 was offside. The point was good. There will be a 5-yard penalty on the ensuing kickoff.
Willie Buchanan was offside, but Seattle has come back. And now they have a 24-14 lead.
You got to know that Zorn loves to have Theodis Brown in that backfield.
Maybe our best game so far this year, Don. A very exciting game, high scoring. And imagine the pressure that builds up on a quarterback like Fouts. Knowing that there's no defense, he has to feel that every time he gets the football, he's going to score a touchdown.
Well, they have not been able to hold the opposition too well this year. But that last one, really and truly, the 2 penalties hurt him a great deal. The roughing the passer moved him into a 15-yard advantage. Then that pass interference call.
Not only San Diego, 8 penalties, 101 yards. Ridiculous.
All right, we'll watch this from the end zone. Efren Herrera to kick off. James Brooks is deep. And you get a look at how the hole either opens up or is supposed to open up. The only thing you're going to miss from this view is the tremendous noise when those bodies collide.
Good move by Brooks.
Good moves. He stays on his feet and goes out to the 38-yard line.
No lateral.
San Diego has 48 seconds, and they have 3 timeouts.
And what they want to do is get something on the board. A field goal, which will bring them within a touchdown of Seattle.
Their last possession, Chuck Muncie went 73 yards on the very first play from scrimmage. Fouts. Winslow. He'll sprint to the sidelines and step out, stopping the clock at the 38-yard line with 41 seconds.
Beautiful play. They're almost there. Field goal position at the very least. But 41 seconds, so much time for a quarterback like Fouts.
Kellen Winslow, to me, is really the key to their passing offense. He will not allow defenses to double the outside receivers. You can't do that. And that's really a big plus for an offensive passing team.
Big and fast, Kellen Winslow. Draw play, Muncie, big opening. Muncie will look for the sidelines. He will not get there, and San Diego will be forced to call timeout. He picks up the first down at the 25-yard line, and San Diego stops the clock with 33 seconds remaining in the first half.
Frank mentioned earlier that the Jets have become a powerhouse team in the NFL. Let's look at them yesterday in Foxborough against New England. Richard Todd has grown of age. That's clear. Number 14. Watch him as he looks for little Bruce Harper out of a little school in Pennsylvania. A great all-purpose football player. The weather was totally atrocious. Look at Bruce sidling out of bounds, getting them in position for their first touchdown. And Richard Todd again, the handoff to Tom Newton. Look at that hole. The Jets with a great offensive and defensive line. The Jets leading the league in sacks, a team to be reckoned with. That's the way they did it to New England yesterday.
What did Gastineau get sacks yesterday, about 12 or 13?
I don't know, but he's gone crazy, hasn't he?
And that stat, 6-1-1 in their last 8 ball games. They are coming on, aren't they?
A team worth looking at. A team, obviously, with playoff potential, but in 2 weeks they play this Seattle team, whom they have never beaten, with whom they have such trouble. But now they're fortified by the fact that for the first time since '75, they beat New England at Foxborough.
33 seconds remaining in the half. 2 timeouts, San Diego. 1st and 10, 25-yard line of Seattle. This is James Brooks. The rookie breaks back inside, breaks a tackle inside the 15-yard line to the 14, another first down. And has Fouts called timeout? Yes, he has.
23 seconds left, Giffer, in the half. So they've certainly got field goal position. Dan has time to try for the touchdown. You talk about running backs. Anderson had a great day yesterday, but what about the kid from Louisiana Tech, Joe Delaney of the Kansas City Chiefs? He is undersized. Always you have to worry about injury, but he doesn't. Joe Delaney wears number 37 for the Kansas City Chiefs. And this was just reflective of what he did yesterday. 193 yards rushing. He passed Mike Garrett's record for the Kansas City Chiefs. Yards gained rushing in a single game. Frank, this kid is amazing. He really is. He gets the blocking, but he can quickly adjust, as you saw that. He was going to go inside, swung to the outside, and he is now the NFL's 6th leading rusher, leading Kansas City to that victory yesterday.
That, of course, is what San Diego is trying to catch tonight. They need a win tonight to stay abreast of Kansas City, to move with a 7-4 record and remain one game behind Denver at 8-3. There are 23 seconds remaining in the first half. 1st and 10, San Diego. The ball inside the 15-yard line of Seattle. Bounce. The man is open. He does not hold on.
Hey, that was a terrific little pop. You saw Danny pop first, bring the ball back. He was covered, trying to get it in under the receivers. He was well covered that time.
Yeah, look at him.
Joyner had slipped right at the goal line.
Looked over at the bench, so totally composed. 17 seconds left. Time for another touchdown effort. Then Benershka for the field goal.
They're in position now where they're going to try 2 more times to get it into the end zone with the passing, and if they're not, they're in a good range for Benershka.
And of course, Seattle is well aware of that.
Threw that one away.
Very safe pass. Keith Simpson was all over Wes Chandler. Fouts throws it away, stops the clock with 12 seconds. He will have time for one more offensive play, and then you will see the field goal unit. Play is flashed in.
I would look for Winslow.
I would look for Joyner.
Frank would look for Chandler. The Seahawks are looking for all of them. No one mentioned Muncie coming out of the backfield.
Great strain on that offensive line because Seattle totally disregarding the run on their pass rush. Fouts. Going for Winslow. Incomplete. 8 seconds. We'll see Benershka. Winslow complaining that he was held, but there are no flags.
Fouts doesn't have a particularly deep drop. He only drops back 5 or 6 yards. Seahawks, from a defensive standpoint tonight, really trying to put a lot of pressure in the middle. They're trying to make him throw over defensive players. That time they did a good job of that. He didn't have a good deep drop.
But a field goal will do it for them in the sense of going off feeling accomplishment. They must not come out empty.
32-yard attempt. Benershka 12 of 17 on the year. Having a good year.
Just oozed that one on through.
Just barely.
It was hooking, but it gets through the uprights.
Oozed it on through.
So Benershka has hit for San Diego. 24-17. Good football game. Hope you're enjoying.
Got another big one coming up next Monday.
On down to Atlanta.
The Minnesota Vikings with Bud Grant, whom I now consider an absolute genius, going against the Atlanta Falcons.
What did you consider him before?
I considered him
a genius. He's an absolute genius this week. He was a genius all up until this week. Now he's absolutely.
No, I remember.
You like the 2-minute offense, right? With 8 minutes to go.
I sure do. I remember when he kicked you out of the dressing room before the game.
Well, he was right.
He speaks kindly of us.
Oh,
he does now. But he's great. That was brilliant effort against Denver.
Tommy Joe's having a good one. Tommy Joe Kramer's doing a good job up there.
He's a terrific young quarterback. They're an exciting team. And Atlanta, maybe in its own way, the most disappointing team in the league with all that had been expected of them, but still dangerous and still in the playoff hunt and able to beat anybody.
They took a look at the early. There's an onside kick. Taken there quickly by John Sawyer, the tight end, the sure-handed one that Seattle had lined up over the right side, anticipating just that. So, a lot of offensive action in the first half. 24-17, Seattle over San Diego. We'll be back after this message from our local stations.
terrific game here in the Kingdome in Seattle. A halftime score, 24-17. Seattle over San Diego. Tonight's halftime is being brought to you by Kerosene portable heaters, because you don't have money to burn. Tremendous day for upsets in the NFL yesterday. Oakland visiting the Miami Dolphins. Action, second quarter, 7-0. Oakland leading. Mark Wilson, downfield. Bob Chandler by himself. Perfect throw. Touchdown, 14-0. Oakland at that point. More to come. Mark Wilson having a brilliant 3-touchdown day. Right here on the Miami 1-yard line. Still the second quarter. To the tight end, Derek Ramsey. 21-0. Oakland, that's what it was at the half. But Miami is a team with comeback capacity. It was 24-10 in the fourth quarter. And Don Strock ready to strike. And that's exactly what he does to Tony Nathan. Touchdown, 24-17, Oakland. But Oakland, scoring more points than it had almost within present memory, was ready to strike back. Strock deep in the end zone. Now, being hit, being pushed out of the end zone by Johnny Robinson. That made it 26-17. Oakland won it by 16. Pittsburgh at Atlanta, the Falcons, the pregame favorite. But Terry Bradshaw had other ideas. A tremendous day, 5 touchdown passes, and this was the very first one. Looking for number 89, the big tight end, Benny Cunningham. Finding him all alone. Benny barreling in for the touchdown, 7-0. Steelers first quarter. In the second quarter, ready to strike again. Down on the Falcons' 6-yard line. Johnny Stallworth, 14-0. But you know how Atlanta can come back with Bartkowski, and immediately they tried to do that. Looking for Alfred Jackson this time, not Alfred Jenkins, and connecting. Great throw, great catch. 14-7 Steelers at halftime. In the fourth quarter, trailing 27-10, Bartkowski again. This time to Alfred Jenkins, and for a touchdown, 27-17 Pittsburgh. But later in the fourth quarter, Terry Bradshaw still red hot, and back in the lineup, number 88, Lynn Swann, the acrobatic wide receiver. So Pittsburgh stormed to a 34-20 victory over the Atlanta Falcons. A great showing for the Steelers when least expected.
In Raleigh, North Dakota, where winters are cold and costly, they're now warm and economical.
49ers a red-hot ball club, but fourth quarter action. And it's 12-5 San Francisco. Seif with a perfectly timed pass to Reggie Rucker, and suddenly it was 12-12. Then on the very next possession, with time running out, Seif playing the way he played a year ago. Again, Reggie Rucker all alone on the left sideline, down to the 6-yard line. And Cleveland, with time actually running out. 46 seconds left. Matt Barr, this 15-12. The Cleveland Browns upset the San Francisco 49ers, who hadn't lost since September 20th to Atlanta. The Dallas Cowboys moved to the unfriendly confines of the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan to play the Lions. This action in the first quarter. Danny White spotting Drew Pearson off by himself in the end zone. Dallas a 7-0 lead. In the third quarter it was 17-7 Dallas. The Lions had the ball. Second down, the Cowboys 6-yard line. Eric Hipple, the kid from Utah, throwing to Mark Nichols, the high draft choice of Detroit, 17-14. Detroit tied it at 17. Then in the fourth quarter, the Lions had the ball. Third down on the Cowboy 39. Hipple to Billy Sims. Would you believe that Sims would drop that pass? He didn't believe it himself, obviously. But he did, and that's the way it was. Later in the fourth period, Cowboy ball. Third down, the Cowboy 39. Watch Danny White. This kid has really become an exceptional quarterback. Way down to Tony Hill. Great catch for Tony, and that set up what happened just 4 plays later. Danny White will throw to Jay Saldy. off by himself, and it will be a Dallas touchdown. 24-17, Dallas in the lead. But the Lions, who haven't lost a single game at home, struck right back. Hipple looking for the great one, Billy Sims out of Oklahoma. And this time, no miss. This play good for 81 yards. Touchdown. They were tied at 24. And what a climax. Sims right there. You see the day he had. 119 yards rushing, 81 yards receiving. Touchdown in both areas. Now, 5 seconds remaining. Murray about to try a field goal. And watch this. A kicker, a holder, 2 contain men, 8 linemen, 12 men on the field. The National Football League office has admitted the mistake. Pete Rozelle has the matter under study. I don't know what the ultimate decision will be, but there was the kick. It was good, and at the moment, at least, Detroit had a thrilling victory, still unbeaten at home, 27-24 over the Cowboys.
Saturday, it's a toss-up for Rose Bowl berths. First, Michigan must beat Ohio State for a trip to Pasadena, plus other games. Then USC, led by top Heisman prospect Marcus Allen, and UCLA tangle for a possible shot at the Rose Bowl. Everything's coming up roses Saturday on ABC.
We're back live in Seattle in the Kingdome. That's the halftime score. Terrific game. In the meantime, it's appropriate that we be back in Seattle because we're about to show you, for tonight at least, a couple of great moments in the history of Monday Night Football involving this Seattle team and a particular person. And a particular person who's become very special in National Football League history. This is the story. It was October 29, 1979, Seattle against Atlanta. Efren Herrera about to kick, apparently. Here's the gift.
Seconds ticking away on the 30-second clock. They'll have time to get it off. Keep in mind, Zorn, the quarterback, is the holder. It's the Bacon. Wide open. Oh! Efren Herrera has a first down inside the 20, and Seattle's doing everything.
I love it. I want to tell you, folks, this is the kind of play pro football needs. It didn't stop there for Efren. There was the game against Oakland. And once again, pick up the action. Herrera can be a very effective receiver, as we learned in the Atlanta game last year.
Zorn, the holder.
I think they go with the points here, though.
I would think so.
27-yard attempt.
Oh, Herrera! There he goes!
Out of bounds. He does not get into the end zone. A little too eager, but the crowd loves it.
That is amazing.
That's a first down. That Herrera has become the most exciting wide receiver in the game of football today.
Fantastic color.
We're winding down the halftime. The score 24-17. Seattle over San Diego in what could be described as a critical game for San Diego. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Lowenbrow. When you want the taste of a truly great beer, there's really only one. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrow. And by Chevrolet and your Chevrolet dealer, who invites you to see the new Chevrolet S10 truck. And we'll be back with the second half kickoff after this message from our local station. So stay with us. We'll be right back after we let our stations tell you who's bringing you the game.
The halftime statistics show an apparent but misleading domination by San Diego. The key statistic, the turnovers, the 2 Jimmy Brooks fumbles, giving Seattle the opportunity to move in and take the lead, which they enjoyed, 24-17. Giffer?
Let's go back a moment ago. We were showing you at the highlights that Efren Herrera does a lot of things. This time he did not get the ball. He was the decoy. This is Sherman Smith on the fake field goal. It would have been a 36-yard attempt. A fairly easy chip shot for Herrera. It turned into 7 points instead of 3. 24-17. The Seahawks over the Chargers were ready to get the third quarter underway. Again, a critical game for San Diego. They need a win tonight to stay abreast of Kansas City and 1 game behind Denver in the AFC West. San Diego next week will be at Oakland. They'll play Oakland twice more. They have a game with Denver coming up. They can do it themselves. They have already defeated Kansas City twice this year. But they have a lot of football remaining on their schedule. Herrera hits it. This will be James Brooks from his 14-yard line. And Brooks finds another opening and just about stays on his feet. Gets to the 40-yard line. Good field position. And another Seahawk is shaken up.
As we look at the injured Seahawk, tremendous football game. Look at it from the end zone. Immediately, San Diego with great field position. And Dan Fouts ready to strike again. No problem with the San Diego offense. Problem, turnovers tonight and absence of defense.
Could be a dislocation. You arm tackles, so that happens sometimes. But I tell you,
that's Keith Simpson, by the way.
Had Keith not been able to at least slow him down, I think Brooks had a good chance of going all the way with that one.
And he can do it. He has superb balance. Somehow he manages to retain that balance. The body slung low and great tackles.
And loss of Keith Simpson will hurt Seattle on defense. They bring in Curry Justin over on the left side, number 26. On 1st and 10, Muncy over the right side. And Muncy, 9 yards, out close to midfield. It'll be 2nd down and 1. Chuck Muncy having an explosive game tonight. You saw the yardage that San Diego made in the first half. They have been averaging and leading the NFL with 409 yards a game. They've been averaging 29 points a game. That again, first in the NFL.
Just look at that stat. 128 yards already, Frank.
Keith Simpson back in at left cornerback for Seattle. Muncy, easy the first down and close to the 45-yard line of Seattle.
He is a horse, isn't he?
They're on the move, it looks like, from here.
Just so fluid. He makes it look so easy.
I can't believe really his speed. He can just really pick it up and go. As you see, he's got a little hitch.
Limping a little, yeah.
Yeah.
In case you were not with us earlier, Muncy went 73 yards from scrimmage for one San Diego score. That was the longest of his career. We saw him earlier with his most productive game of the year against Cleveland, 161-yard effort. 1st down and 10. Fouts has the time. Winslow doesn't hold on and almost picked off. It was Terry Beeson who almost came down with it for Seattle.
Keith Butler is the linebacker they send out with Winslow when he goes in motion like that. And they're allowed that one good pop before they go 5 yards down the field. He's trying to hit him. But what happens is Winslow bounces off of him and opens up fairly quickly thereafter. Didn't hold on to the ball that time, however.
It'll be 2nd down and 10. Chandler split far to the right in the slot. Charlie Joyner, and you see Winslow. They can move the big tight end far to the outside because he has that great speed.
And offsides, it appears.
Looked like an encroachment. Unless Seattle, perchance, was drawn offside, as Chuck Muncy works for 2 to 3 yards over the left side.
79 defense offside.
Jacob Green defensively offside for Seattle.
Jacob Green's a kid, Frank's 2nd year here out of Texas A&M. Came in as a rookie, and as rookies sometimes do, they have just terrific plays, and at the same time they make some mistakes. But here's a guy I think you're going to be seeing for an awful long time. They're counting on him here. He's going to anchor it down. Got good size, a lot of raw ability.
Plays that strong side, and nevertheless he is leading Seattle. By strong side, I mean on the left side, which is usually considered the strong side. He's leading Seattle in sacks with 8.
Good kid, got a good sense of humor. He told me an Aggie joke, by the way. I'll let you have it in a minute.
2nd down and 5.
They can't wait.
Muncy has blockers in front. And good defensive play, again, made by Michael Jackson. Split the blockers of the Chargers, but Muncy is close to a 1st down.
What a tremendous game Jackson is having. Incidentally, earlier you saw Beeson go off, and back in is 42, Keith Simpson. So he wasn't seriously hurt, we're glad to say, and he's critical to the Seattle defense.
Out come the yard markers.
Can I tell my Aggie joke?
You have
Yes.
time? Yes.
All right. Well, Jacob Green, you know, Aggies, they're the world. They love to tell them on themselves. So what the deal was, he says, did you hear that the Aggies got him a new mascot? I said, no. What was it? He said they got him a zebra. A zebra? I said, that's terrific. He says, yeah, they named him Spot.
Okay, we're back to the action here.
Well, that's all right. I mean, you know, only an Aggie can tell that joke.
You saw the first down for San Diego inside the 36-yard line of Seattle. Fouts on first down. Back. Going for Brooks, and he cannot hold on. Nearly a great catch at the 5-yard line.
I love Brooks saying, I had it.
He says, no, but you bounced it twice. Hullabaloo, connect.
Gotta have a little fun with this game.
He was wide open, by the way. Danny may have overthrown him just a little bit. Big hole right there in the middle between those linebackers and the secondary. Catchable ball. Didn't quite, bounced it a little bit. And Brooks is...
How could he say I had it?
Well, Brooks didn't see it hit the ground. Didn't hit the floor.
Second down and 10. Brooks now, the single setback. Muncy at the wing spot. Winslow. And Winslow collides with Keith Butler after a gain of only a couple. It'll be third down and 8.
That was a beautiful, clean, sharp hit by Butler.
Butler's staying with him pretty good. I've been interested to watch Butler because you don't normally expect to see him cover at a guy like Winslow all the way, but he's really been going with him in motion. He was with him right there that time, too. Butler must have a little more speed than what we are aware of. I'm sure the coaches wouldn't assign him to somebody like Winslow unless he was able to do that.
Both Jackson and Butler, the outside linebackers, have the speed. Passing situation for San Diego, and Fouts is back. Winslow.
Not enough speed that time.
And Winslow booming through tacklers inside the 10-yard line, and San Diego's on the march.
I like him. I think he's
he is
terrific.
tremendous.
He is going to be the prototype for tight ends. Big, tall, great speed and strength.
Yeah, but you're not going to find many guys like that. I mean, put all those combinations together. Here's a guy that truly, he does play a wide receiver many times and is a deep threat from a wide receiver. If you get him in there to tight end, as I mentioned earlier, boy, that does puts a lot of pressure on that defensive secondary.
89 receptions to lead the NFL a year ago, and he's playing back to it again this year. Muncy, single setback, first down, goal to go. Muncy working behind Wilkerson, gets to the outside, taken there by Kenny Easley, gaining a yard and a half perhaps.
Okay, just another play in a game. But what you just saw Kenny Easley do as we look at him is what we've been talking about and why Patera loves him. He can do it all. Man-on-man coverage, he is tremendous. There's Jack, who says he will be one of the greatest at his position who has yet lived.
6'3".
And I believe him. And you saw him in a one-on-one tackle. He, as I said, he can do it all. A great, great young football player.
Muncy now 135 yards on the night. Second down, goal to go. Fouts. Going for Brooks, incomplete.
That ball tipped a little bit, maybe. I think that was Jacob Green that may have tipped it just a little bit.
Might have been, but it was thrown too hard. It was without touch, which is odd for Dan, because he should have looped it.
That was the same offensive set I mentioned earlier. You see Brooks coming from the left halfback position, going right, and he becomes the outlet receiver over in the right flat. Very difficult for the linebacker who's usually assigned to cover him to come all the way across. You can usually get him one-on-one. Do you understand all that? That's terrific. Well, that's true. They missed it that time.
If Frank does, it's enough for me.
Okay.
Third down, goal to go. Fouts in trouble.
He only has.
Flag is down and downfield. Well, we will have interference, perhaps offense, perhaps defensive.
Well, Jacob Green seems to be making a lot of noise toward the referees.
Holding Seattle. It'll work for San Diego.
Tough cookie right there.
Played with you, didn't he, Don, in expansion days at Dallas?
Jack Patera and the booth right next to us is Don.
Defensive holding. Defense First and goal.
My old buddy Don Heinrich, who was also one of the quarterbacks in the 1960 of the Cowboys.
Heinrich made Gifford a star.
Well, he taught me a lot of tricks, too. What can I tell you? Patera, Heinrich, had some real characters down there in those days.
First down, goal to go. Muncy, blockers in front. Good defensive pursuit by Seattle, headed by Michael Jackson once again. Muncy struggles inside the 3-yard line. It'll be second down, goal to go.
He came from Washington, one of the Huskies. They spotted him. They drafted him. He belongs up here. He's part of this town. And he has such range. As you look at that remarkable athlete already with 136 yards. But for Michael Jackson, what a night. You've seen him all over the field.
They've got the college fever up here. Washington, of course, still alive for the Rose Bowl. Washington State having a tremendous year. 11th play of this drive. Second and goal to go. That's Winslow in motion. Here comes Muncy again. Muncy just carrying Seahawks close to the goal line.
That's really individual effort, isn't it?
High stepping on the right side, using his 220 pounds. Great leverage.
So strange to look at him and still see him wearing glasses. He's one of the few people that do that, and I can't get used to that.
Carried this bad reputation. When Hank Stram had New Orleans, Hank used to say to me, I've got the best back in football. Don't tell me about Campbell. Don't tell me about Harris. I got the best back. Well, maybe, maybe not, but he is a great back, which is all that matters.
Third and goal. Muncy again. 3 times they've tried this play. They'll mark that short. And Muncy was down, even though there's a scramble for the football in the end zone. And a Seattle Seahawk stays on the artificial surface. Be positive of any identification.
I can only see the 2, and there's 2 of them that have the 2 back there. I don't know who it was.
That's Keith Simpson, the defensive left cornerback. Keith Simpson being treated by the medical staff of the Seahawks, and we'll be back in the Kingdome in a moment. The field goal team for San Diego remains on the sideline, and on 4th down, the Chargers will go. No! And this crowd will go bananas.
Terrific defensive stand. Love to see that. Wave the pom-poms. Hey, got a smile out of old Patera on that one. He said, "That's a way to go, guys." Patera was a pretty tough linebacker himself, I tell you. He knows those goal line stands. Just no movement there.
That handoff wasn't clean. Dan had a little trouble with the football. That delayed the
Look at
play.
Michael Jackson upside down. He's the guy that came over the top to stop Muncy.
And Green again. The guy you pointed out.
The defensive line just outcharged San Diego's offensive line. There's no place for Muncy to go. And again, the strategy for San Diego. If you miss for the touchdown, you'll leave them deep in the hole. Dan Dornick tries the middle. A yard, perhaps. Good football game. Hope you're enjoying. Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell, Don Meredith. San Diego, with their very first possession of the night, looked like they were going to blow the Seahawks away.
Well, right there.
22-yard line, passing, running. And then things began to change in the second quarter.
As you see right there, Giff, capitalizing on every opportunity, Seattle took the lead. Now they got to get out of the hole if they can.
Second down and 8. This is the rookie, David Hughes, big opening, and Hughes gets the first down, and Seattle gets out from under their own goalpost.
Oh, yes.
That youngster they're very high on, a second-round draft pick out of Little Boise State.
Now remember, this is a team with 9 rookies. And this is a team that is beginning to gel. Look at Pittsburgh a week ago.
Good move in there, David Hughes. Good block by Bob Newton, called a collapse block. He hit his defensive.
You know what they called him when they drafted him?
No.
David Hughes.
David Hughes.
First down 10, 16-yard line. Theodis Brown. Theodis Brown works his way up close to the 20-yard line. Gain of 3. It'll be second down and 7.
Look at what Theodis Brown has done for this team in terms of a running offense. And for Chuck Muncie, well, call it the Muncie Brown Show.
Second down, 7. Zorn looking and almost picked off, intended for Sam McCullum, and it was Alan Ellis there defensively. Ellis again, will remind you, filling in for the fine cornerback Mike Williams, playing a good game tonight. He's been on the ball many times.
From the reverse angle, look at it from the other side of the field. He took a gamble, Frank, and this time it paid off. You do see a lot of defensive backs do that. He went for the ball, just got there in time to knock it away. Had he missed, it would have been a reception.
Goodbye.
It would have been a reception anyway. Woody Lowe was coming in there to give him some help.
Third down, long 6. Zorn gets it out to Dornick. Dornick has a lot of running room. Dornick breaking back. Dornick all the way.
How about that?
80-yard touchdown.
How could you have a better football game? There he is, a reject from the Giants. A guy who goes to the University of Washington Medical School. Would you believe? What a play.
Dan Dornick, he was the man that provided the 2 big plays that brought Seattle back last week when they beat the Steelers, and he has just broken for 80 yards here.
Crossing pattern by the backs in the backfield, a little swing pass, picked up a couple of crucial blocks. That was John Yarno, the center, who came out through a good block. Rest of it's up to Dornick.
Herrera through the uprights. And the 36th consecutive sellout crowd of 64,000 plus Seahawk fans is loving every moment of it. An unlikely player to go 80 yards. Dornick not known for his speed, but he put on a show. And he is getting pumped up once again.
It's time to do that armchair quarterback. 99 yards those guys took off. Fourth down and goal, less than a yard to go. They held them.
First down and goal from the 4.
Too extra. Look at the crowd. They're still with it. Listen.
Look at the pom-poms.
Herrera to kick off. Spiraling kick, bobbled, and then quickly picked up. Eric Sievers, the rookie tight end. And now, for San Diego, they'll have to pull it together, regain their composure. They are down 31-17, 5:38 remaining in the third quarter. A loss tonight would not, well, would certainly not eliminate them, but it would put them in deep trouble.
One of the things about the San Diego schedule, Frank, they play Oakland twice. They play Denver one more time. They've got a lot of those interconference games that the last game of the year, we have them in San Diego, where they play the Oakland Raiders.
First down 10, 29-yard line for the Chargers. Cappelletti, single setback. He gets the pass. Cappelletti works his way back to the inside, gets out of the 35-yard line before Tuiasosopo makes the stop. A gain of 7. It'll be second and 3.
There are the standings, and that's exactly what Dandy was talking about. In the meantime, you've just seen 2 superb blocks On that 80-yard play, Frank suggested that Dornick was not a man to run 80 yards. He's right. But Steve August and John Yarno, two tremendous blocks, sprung them loose.
2nd and 3. Muncie right side. Muncie runs into trouble. Short of the first down by perhaps a half a yard.
I think as many times they've been running that right side, they ought to try the left every now and then. They tried it 4 times inside the 5 and didn't score.
Muncie is getting a little lopsided on the left side.
Yeah,
he was really hammered down around that goal line.
Can anybody go left on this team? Well, you get in the habits. You know, habits are hard to break.
It was close enough for a measurement. They'll bring out the yard markers, and we'll look at the touchdown once again.
That's Steve August you have out in front. And this is Yarno coming in from his offensive center position. And I think, you know, Dornick is saying, wait a minute, I am way out here in the open by myself. A nice cut right here. Wait, there's another pretty good little block.
Yep.
Good cut back right there. And the rest of it's up to him.
This is what you learn in medical school.
Certainly. You dissect things.
He certainly will be able to afford the tuition. The first down was short by inches. It'll be 3rd and about 6 inches. We'll try the left side.
See there, I think that's a good move.
Muncie with a big opening. Drops the football.
He does that a lot.
And a flag goes down. And it could have been a Charger trying to prevent a Seattle Seahawk from getting to the football, holding him. Joe Norman, I believe.
Seattle's ball.
Referee Bob Frederick and his crew untangling it.
People get hung with different kinds of handles and tags, and Chuck Muncie, all the things that we've been saying about him, his strength and his speed, his maneuverability, his athletic ability is true. He does also fumble on an average per carry.
I hate to see these meetings, though, Don.
What meetings?
It shows me indecision on the part of the officials.
I don't believe that's right. I think they're trying to get it right.
Offensive holding during the play. Refused. Ball was recovered by the defense. Touchdown.
So, once again, the whole momentum goes with Seattle, which is now looking to pour it on with 4 minutes and 23 seconds left in the 3rd quarter and a 14-point edge for the Hawks.
People
Had the first down, bobbled the ball. Seattle comes up with it. They'll have a 1st and 10. Good field position. Inside their own 45-yard line. They lead 31-17. 4:23 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Zorn looking for Larja. And Larja drops the football. San Diego has recovered, but there's a flag down, and I think Zorn was hit late.
Well, we saw that play earlier. Start a touchdown drive for the Seahawks. Roughing the passer. This one is really tough.
Oh, this will be a terrible blow.
Yeah. Show business.
But there is no mistake. San Diego is not made.
Roughing the passer, defense number 90.
John Woodcock hitting Zorn late. And what a turnaround that is. San Diego had the ball near their own 30-yard line. Let's look again.
Let's just take a look at it and see what happens. Woodcock is the man they called. There he comes. Whoa, I guess he did.
If he didn't, it's a story.
And the crowd once again reacting to the big screen. To our left.
Flailing away with that big right arm. Caught him about elbow high right in the ear.
That's the second roughing the passer penalty against Zorn tonight. Earlier, Leroy Jones hit Zorn late. Seattle first down, 41-yard line of San Diego. Theodis Brown. Woodcock corrals him at the 40-yard line for a gain of 1. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
Play was way too slow developing that time. Gave Woodcock, who at one time was out of position, And look at the penalties. 9 for 116 yards to San Diego. We mentioned it several times tonight, but that really has been. They've had some fumbles. But I think these penalties have been the things that really hurt them.
Sometimes penalties show aggressive football and work for you because you're trying so hard. But sometimes they show a constancy or frequency of mistake. And that's what's happening to San Diego tonight.
Second down 9. Dan Dornick. The setback for the Seattle Seahawks. There's Dornick, left side, runs into trouble there, gets a couple of yards. It'll be third down and 7.
You know what I'd do with that Dallas-Detroit game, and I'm not Roselle, Frank? I'd call it a tie.
That will be very difficult to decide. I don't believe they've ever changed one in the history of the game, have they? No reason you can't, but I'm just suggesting they never have.
Yeah, what is the legislation on it? What do I see they filed.
No, there was a resolution passed a year ago. It's too complex to go into now. It involves what are called extraordinary circumstances. Roselle will decide it.
Third and 7. Zorn sprinting out. Wide open is John Sawyer. And the big tight end inside the 15 to the 12 before he's upset by Willie Buchanan.
That was the play that Jerry Rome was saying they've been trying to get in all night, where you have Zorn roll out to the left. Ordinarily, the tight end is going to run a different kind of pattern than he's running here. He curls back into the middle. There's a wide open spot there. No one's close. The tight end, John Sawyer, haven't heard too much of him tonight.
You know, Don, with a left-handed passer, I mean, he's kind of upsetting the defense. They're not used to that. I mean, a left-handed passer could throw that pass where a right-handed passer could not.
That's a good thought.
The first down is at the 13-yard line of San Diego. Largent in motion. Theodis Brown. And Theodis down at the line of scrimmage.
Theodis doesn't look to be an explosive back on that one. He kind of just wandered in there and was hoping something would open it. It didn't.
Didn't you think he should have cut left instead of right?
Well, they keep going to the right. But
I'll tell you, he is a youngster. You know, at high school, he ran a 9.600 at Skyline High School. He grew up in Oakland, California. And then he grew into quite a king-size young man. He is 6'2", 225 pounds, perhaps slowed somewhat. But and what he's lost in speed, he has certainly picked up in power. It's second down and 10. Dornick. Both hands on the football. San Diego stiffening on defense. Gain of a yard. It'll be third down and 9.
But they're right in the middle of the field, right in front of the goalposts, and there is Herrera. And a field goal means that's true. Totally true. You know that, Don.
Why would I know that?
Of course you know that.
I suspicion it. I'm not absolutely sure. Third down and 9.
Largent left, McCullum right. Dornick will be the single setback. Zorn. McCullum. Short of the first down. Woody Lowe taking McCullum out of bounds, and decision time now for Seattle.
All right.
They lead 31-17. They'll have a fourth down and about 4, and we will see Efren Herrera.
Frank, isn't that it? That's the first time he used McCullum tonight, wasn't it?
Twice, I believe.
Second time, yeah.
I'll bet you San Diego doesn't rush real hard on this field. No, there's no telling what they're going to do.
Now, this time you go for the points. You put the more than 2 touchdowns out of reach.
24-yard attempt. And if that penalty is against San Diego, it would be a first down if Seattle would want to get the points back. To the uprights.
That's sloppy football. They're getting a little sloppy on defense. You're mentioning that about penalties. That's just lack of concentration.
And the options will be explained. Jack Patera wants to think it over.
Take the first, he's saying.
Take the first, it would be At first and goal to go at the 3-yard line. Now, do you give away 3 points?
I think you do, Frank, here.
Really?
Because you've got them up 14. What do you mean, really?
I'm just checking.
Well, of course you do. Herrera can kick another one.
Jack wants the first down.
Yeah, of course you do that. Right, Jack?
Put him away, right?
Well, I would certainly do that. I mean, don't let them up. Never give a sucker an even break. What they may not have is they may not have a first down. It's half the distance
Jack
between
was
the goals.
questioning.
Yeah.
Are you sure that's the first down?
Suppose he will want a ruling from the official that the first down on the penalty would be accomplished.
Well, you would take the penalty anyway because it still would be 4th down. I would. Well, no, you wouldn't. I wouldn't give it 3 points for that. I don't.
No, I wouldn't.
No, I think
I'm glad you reconsidered.
Let's see what they're going to do.
I think they're going to walk it off half the distance and then measure.
I'll tell you this, Jack's a guy who'll go for broke, and that's exactly what he's considering.
Well, he's in I think, a rather enviable position right now. I said that. Enviable.
This is what is being determined, whether or not the penalty, half the distance to the goal, would give.
First down!
Well, that was solved by a big, long step.
Man, where's a size 14 shoe?
Defensive number 79 was offside.
It's Bigfoot.
And with the half of the distance measurement, it would be a first down and goal.
Big hands, not Bigfoot.
All right, Jack, you're a gambler. I go with you.
Well, you're sitting with a 31-17 lead. You're a 3-7. You're not going to be in the playoffs. You know that. You got a sellout crowd. You're on national television.
Do it.
And Jack likes to have fun.
Hey, why not? Nothing wrong with that.
And we like to watch him have fun. Warning. So the Seahawks trade in 3 for 7 if the conversion is good.
Pardee is worrying about his defense.
Now, right there, the pictures needed no words. You saw the face of Patera, and you saw the face of Jack Pardee. Okay, Jack, you are doing it tonight.
4-point bonus with the decision. There's Herrera. Herrera will attempt to make it 38-17 with 12 seconds remaining in the third quarter. And one has to wonder if even the powerful offensive San Diego Chargers can now overcome this lead of 38-17. We'll be back.
Now,
And look at what Seattle has done in its last 6 possessions. Incidentally, at halftime, I was talking about Delaney, the brilliant rookie with Kansas City, and mentioned that he'd gone to Louisiana Tech. That was erroneous. I apologize. He went to Northwest Louisiana.
On first down, Fouts from his end zone. And fires to Winslow.
Flag.
We're going to see a flag for a late hit on Winslow, I'm sure.
Easily.
Kenny Easley, a necessary hit against Winslow.
I really thought that Winslow was an illegal receiver. I thought they knocked him out of bounds. He came back in the field. Not that that would have anything to do with anything.
That would make him an illegal receiver.
Personal foul, number 45 on the defense.
Bob, we got 2.
There it is. There's the late hit by Easley.
Well, it was late.
Proper call, and San Diego will have a first down at their 22-yard line.
But think of the pressure on Fouts, Don, as an old quarterback.
And there's the gun. That's the end of the third quarter. The score, 38-17. Seattle over San Diego. Will return for the fourth quarter after this message from our local stations. Kingdom in Seattle. The West, however.
Terrific inside, but not good for Dan Fouts. Every time he gets the football, he's got to score a touchdown. No defense. What's that, Don?
I'm having a nice time. I'm enjoying myself.
We hope you are. A lot of excitement offensively tonight. A lot of troubles for San Diego. We start the fourth quarter. First down 10, the Chargers. This is James Brooks, right side. Big opening, and Brooks stays on his feet. It's a first down out close to the 34-yard line. Curry Justin taking Brooks out of bounds.
Okay, there are the stats. Seattle closing the margin, but that doesn't matter. They have capitalized those 3 turnovers, the key to this game, together with the fact that when it's necessary to defend, San Diego has not been able to do it. Period.
3 turnovers, over 125 yards in penalties. That'll get you every time.
On first down, quick count by Fouts. And Fouts has to hurry the ball to Clarence Williams, incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. And as we look back, we think of a first down, goal to go at the 4-yard line. The Chargers could not get it in. They would have gone within 7 points. And Seattle taking over at their 1-yard line and going 99 yards for a touchdown. The big play, of course, an 80-yard touchdown pass to Dornick.
They just took an ice pack off Chuck Muncie's foot or ankle. It was hard quite to tell which. He's had an extraordinary night.
2nd down and 10. Fouts picked off Michael Jackson. When it rains, it pours. Jackson may move to tailback next week. Nifty run down the sideline, and this man has played a game tonight.
We have told you about this fellow from the University of Washington, a Husky, a local kid, drafted by the Hawks, and just adopted by this whole city.
Getting a little pressure from the back. That ball was poorly thrown. One of the few that Denny's has a bad throw. Nowhere, but this is a good run. Once he make those moves, a shuffle to the right and a shuffle to the left and a shuffle to the right and a back and a back and a back. He's out of there. It's an old dance called shot is to the left and shot is to the right. I learned it in church camp. 78 points the Chargers have given up in the last 7 quarters. Try that one.
33-yard return. First and 10. Seattle has the ball at the 16-yard line of the Chargers once again. Zorn once more quickly. Zorn just gets rid of it. Out of bounds was Theodis Brown. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
But this game now is clearly on the verge of becoming a rout, a blowout. And this Seattle team, it's going to be very interesting 2 weeks hence when the Jets come out here, because the Jets have never beaten them. And we're upset by them a few weeks back, 19-3, the only game the Jets have lost in their last 8.
Theodis Brown, I think, has had an awful lot to do with this offense, giving them a little diversification, which they really didn't have in a passing team.
Mention the Jets never having beaten Seattle. Seattle has never beaten San Diego, and they're trouncing them tonight. Good point. 2nd and 10. Dornick, or rather Theodis Brown. And look at Theodis Brown inside the 10-yard line. Extra effort. Woody Lowe there defensively.
Very strange. The first time San Diego had the ball, they moved down the field as if they were running a skeleton pass drill in practice. It looked like this is the way it goes. If anybody was going to blow it out, it was going to be those guys.
I think that's what you referred to it in the first quarter, Don. It looked like a passing drill.
That's really true. Theodis Jackson, Michael Jackson, you see there. Nice looking kid. Heck of a football player.
3rd down 3. That's larger. Motion. Mix up in the backfield, and Gary Johnson corrals Zorn.
Slight mix up.
We will see Efren Herrera, and we cannot tell you for sure what we'll see after he lines up.
That's right. That makes it exciting, though. That's putting the thrill back into the extra point.
And we are under 14 minutes left to play in the game. The clock becoming a factor.
I was telling
1-point lead.
Yeah. Herrera out of all the Seahawks, a lot of the Seahawks get very involved in community activities, but Efron is the guy that probably is the leader in that area. They love him here in Seattle, and he really does contribute an awful lot. Gives a lot of his time, a lot of his effort, and his own money. A lot of different projects here, and he just boots that one right through.
30-yard effort.
Are you ready?
Seahawks extend their lead 41-17. 13 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the game. 41-17. Seahawks over the Chargers. Efron Herrera to kick off, and you see Wes Chandler dropping for San Diego rather than James Brooks. Wes Chandler, dangerous return man in his own right. Herrera kicks a slider, and it comes down in the arms of Doug Bedoin. And Bedoin finds running room out over the 40-yard line to the 41-yard line. That's really a strange group, those people. I get letters and brochures.
I met Reverend Rick, as a matter of fact, this past week. I was up in Santa Barbara.
Where'd you meet him?
I met him at the marina in Santa Barbara. Reverend Rick came out and bought me a T-shirt.
Thought you might have been on a pilgrimage.
No, well, I was to a degree.
I understand.
Once again, Fouts has to produce immediately.
First and 10. In and out of the arms of John Cappelletti, ready to run before he had the ball. Speaking of battles, it'll be this Friday night when ABC presents the Battle of the Network Stars. The host, of course, the one and only Mr. Macho Man, Howard Cosell. 8 o'clock Eastern and Pacific, 7 o'clock Central over most of these ABC stations.
Why do you chuckle?
I just think that's really funny.
Second down 10.
Hits my funny bone.
Fouts with the short drop. Has to hurry the pass. John Cappelletti slipped, fell, and Fouts looks to be in pain.
Well,
Tuiasosopo was pressuring Fouts.
He's kind of bent over there a little bit, and I think he's a little bit upset. Tried once to Cappelletti, he dropped it. Next time he falls down, suggestion, Dan, go to Winslow.
Season started in Cleveland, Monday Night Football. San Diego, apparently awesome. The favorite to go to the Super Bowl and even to win it. 44-14, they crushed Cleveland. And look at them now.
Third down 10.
Winslow
will get the first down and much more. High stepping down the sideline, stepping out of bounds at the 29-yard line, first and 10.
I'd throw to him at least one out of every series of downs that I had. I would throw to Winslow. Here's the guy that can just make it all happen for you. Danny does not take a very deep drop. I think if there's any criticism, well, they don't get trapped a lot, but he really does not take a very deep drop. He gets back there quick, hits it to Winslow. You see him coming back across. Great speed, great size.
He's caught 7 of 105 already tonight.
Nothing wrong with 8.
First down 10. Brooks. Good move by James Brooks. James Brooks works his way to another San Diego first down near the 17-yard line.
Quick feet. That young fella can move, can he? Nimble.
Now it is Chuck Muncie has hurt a toe and will probably not be back for San Diego.
Which is hardly felicitous for San Diego, but they have to worry about 2 things now. They've got to worry about time, too, because they've got to score so many times to get back into this thing, even though they have a dynamite offense. On first and 10, Fouts once again looking for Brooks, incomplete, and it could have been picked off by Butler. Fouts saw him at the last moment and overthrew it.
I agree 100%. I think he did see Butler and did go high. You see Muncie on the sideline. Did you say it was the toe, Frank?
Hey, he's banged up. He's got a broken left hand. He's got a very sore knee. Now he's got a sore toe. Sore left toe, we hear.
Toe on the left foot. That would probably be one of those.
Well, it could be the little toe.
Could be.
That's out on the left.
One on the left is on the right. The one in the middle is a Methodist. It's an old song. Seasons come, the seasons go.
Second down, 10. Ball at the 17-yard line. Brooks in motion.
You know what?
Flag is down as Fouts fires over the middle.
They can't have two guys in motion at the same time, and I think they did that time.
Saw the flag.
Got to have them set there for a while. Only one guy can be in motion.
Referee Bob Frederick working it out once again. Year ago.
Yep. Tells you a lot, doesn't it?
A year ago, you're talking about the leaders, okay, through 11 weeks. In 1980 was Buffalo. That is an interesting statistic. By golly. Philly's still there on top, aren't they? How about that?
So is Minnesota.
Well, they were tied with Detroit. But I tell you, Philadelphia is a heck of a good football club.
Illegal motion against San Diego. They back them up 5. Second down, 15. Ball now at the 22-yard line. Fouts looking for 6. Yes. Wes Chandler with a great catch and a fine throw by Fouts. He had to thread it right over Seattle defender. He was right on target.
Little ballet move there by Chandler, I would call that one. A little tiptoe right there through the tulips.
Isn't this pretty? Watch this.
Yeah, I think Chandler's terrific. I really do. It is a good throw by Fouts. A little move to the inside. Doesn't have much room. Then he drills it right in. Watch his feet right here. Look, yes.
He just froze
Tiptoe.
Dave Brown with that inside move with a little look over the right shoulder. Brown totally off stride, and Fouts was right there.
This extra point could tie the total points on Monday Night Football this year, which were accomplished in Detroit when they played Chicago, but it didn't.
Van Erschke has the extra point blocked.
You're crazy. You know that.
Nobody's perfect.
San Diego has shortened the lead, but it's considerable. 41-23, 11:39 remaining in the game. We'll be back in a moment.
Is chewing up the clock. We're now coming down to the 8-minute mark and less than that. And he'll settle for a field goal. That's enough.
Over 780 yards combined offense by these two teams tonight. If you like your offense, we are glad you joined in. Seen a little bit of everything tonight. San Diego actually leading in total yards, 433 to 351. It's second down and 8. Sherman Smith this time piled up. Hit there first by Gary Johnson. Then Jimmy Webb shuts it off.
I noticed tonight that they've got cheerleaders up here that are cheering. Did you hear that last yell there? They're saying Seahawks, Seahawks. Hear that? There you go, little Seahawks. You don't see that a lot around the league. This is kind of a community team. These folks are awfully proud of their Seahawks, although they've only won 3 games coming into tonight's contest.
I think maybe a lesson for this country in these days of fan violence. A beautifully behaved crowd. Just beautifully behaved.
Third down, 7. David Hughes. And David Hughes very close to another first down. This again will be dependent upon where it's marked. He could be just a few inches short.
Well, there are a lot of people who still talk about what happened to San Diego and lay it all on the departure of Jefferson and Dean. I can't do that. I think Wes Chandler is a super athlete, and I don't think, while I admire Jefferson, they lost that much. But Dean, no, they have not been able to replace him.
But I would think there's more than just that, too, because they really, people have been scoring a lot of points on them. So they
no defense.
Yeah, you got to really look at that. This could be anything, folks.
23-yard apparent attempt. And Herrera splits the uprights. Bob Frederick gives us the indication. And now the Seahawks have moved out to a 44-23 lead. Lots of fun in Seattle.
When it comes to space games, nobody compares to Atari.
Excuse me. Have you compared them to Intellivision?
In television?
Sure, they've got great space games, like in Television Space Battle.
I didn't know.
And now there's Space Armada and the Incredible Astro Smash.
I didn't know.
Here, compare for yourself.
Perhaps the most telling story as you look at the 44 points by Seattle. If you recall, a week ago, Cincinnati laid on 40 points against San Diego. 84 points thus far in 2 games. Wes Chandler deep as Herrera set to kick off. Seattle's last 8 possessions, 3 field goals, 5 touchdowns. Bobbled and picked up by Chandler. Flag is down as Chandler steps out of bounds up close to the 30-yard line, but again a flag is down.
Wisely stepped out of bounds. No more yards to be gained. Save yourself.
Holding against San Diego.
Frank, how is it that sometimes a team will get on a bad roll and all of a sudden, really true, San Diego opened up this ball game tonight looking as if they were going to just blow the Seahawks away. And everything's just kind of stumbled and fumbled and they've fallen. How in the world does that happen? What do you think?
Well, their problem is really...
Number 87 on the return. First down.
Dwight Scales holding. The problem really has been their defense, and right now Dan Fouts is going to get a breather from the pressure as Ed Luther, the second-year man out of San Jose State, comes in.
Does that tell you a story?
Luther back, dumps it off out into the flat. It goes to James Brooks. Luther, thus far in the year, you saw his stats from a year ago. He has not had a single passing attempt this year. Chargers' first-round draft pick, or rather their first choice last year. He was a 4th-round draft pick. Impressive in preseason, both last year and this year. And a backup to Fouts in 5 different games a year ago. 4-yard pickup, second down and 6. Ed Luther is 6'3" and 211 pounds. Brooks is open once again. Seattle will give them all they want of this. And Brooks turns a short pass into a big gainer out to the 44-yard line. Michael Jackson defensively there for Seattle. 5:10 and the seconds are ticking away here in the Kingdom. For San Diego, it's of course not all over, but they have put themselves in a hole tonight. Next week they play at Oakland. Oakland coming on strong. Then they have Denver. Then they have Buffalo. Then they have Tampa Bay. And we'll see them December the 21st on Monday night against the Oakland Raiders once again. It'll be a tough row to hoe with tonight's loss. Luther throws a bomb up for Chandler. Spirals pretty and almost picked off. Gary Justin back there defensively.
Chance completing that one was slim and none because Justin had him all the way.
And we have about 4.5 minutes left. A touch more than that, 9 seconds to be exact.
I like to be exact. I don't like to just generalize on this. This is have a little journalism.
Whatever you say.
Thank you.
44-yard line. It'll be second down and 10. Dwight Scales now in, a wide receiver for Chandler, who had a long wind sprint. Brooks out of the backfield, took his eyes off it.
Yeah, but you drop it, bounce it once, it's okay. I mean, he could catch it, drop it.
He might claim that he caught it.
Well, I mean, he could have.
He did it before.
I think the one official didn't see it. Brooks had his body in front of it. Incomplete, of course. Third down and 10. Don Coryell
cannot be
has got to be puzzled. We've talked about the personnel changes, but they have not been that dramatic, particularly for a team that has won 2 consecutive division titles. Their problems, again, primarily defensive. When you're playing catch-up all the time, it's very difficult. Luther back. Scales. Short of the first down. And a flag goes down as somebody was in late, I believe Michael Jackson. Scales did not have
unnecessary roughness on number 55 of the defense.
Michael Jackson, unnecessary roughness, and that will accomplish the first down. Let's look again.
An ex-Ram, Dwight Scales, comes in, does a little curl, hasn't been playing a lot, fills in down there, made his reception. There's Michael Jackson. And that's what the penalty was for. Whistle is blown, threw him on the ground, unnecessary roughing.
Scales made a great catch against Cincinnati. San Diego was ready to move in, make it a ball game, and that's when Breeden had the interception, the 102-yard return for a touchdown. That killed San Diego last.
On 1st and 10, Cappelletti. They'll get these kind of openings as Seattle is just determined not to give up the big play. Cappelletti quickly picks up 8 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 2. We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves.
This is KOMO TV4.
3 minutes and 45 seconds, and the clock is ticking away here in the Kingdome. And very few of these fans have left. They have not had the opportunity to savor a victory such as this. They have never beaten San Diego. Brooks out of the backfield. Hit there by Keith Butler. Brooks gets the 1st down.
Butler's played well tonight. He's had some pretty difficult assignments thrown his way, and he's done a good job. Keith Butler, number 53. Pretty aggressive, got good movement.
We saw this kid Luther, remember, in the Hall of Fame game? He's a comer. You know that, Frank?
Oh, they're very high on him. But what do you do when you have a record-setting quarterback, as Dan Fouts was last year, over 4,700 yards?
To make him a comer.
Luther, very cool, tries to squeeze it in to Keller Winslow, incomplete as Kerry Justin was over there defensively, helping out Kenny Easley.
Trying to go to Winslow, but they've now got him out in a flank position. Came out of the backfield in a motion position, and Winslow saying he was interfered with. Don't think he's going to get much help there from the back judge.
Seattle only in existence in 1976. We're going to look at it again from the reverse angle. That's Jackson running right with Winslow. And here comes Justin.
Oh, could have been intercepted, couldn't it?
2nd down and 10. Ball at the 20-yard line. Cappelletti on the draw. Cappelletti to the 15-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Mike White and Michael Jackson defensively there for Seattle. They came in 76 to Seattle. They were 2-12 in the Patera. Then 77 they went 5-9. 78 and 79 they were 9-7. Those were expansion records, by the way, for expansion teams. And last year they went to 4-12. They're unusual in Seattle because they gave Jack Patera a new 5-year contract.
Yeah, but they can be bought out. Jack's been under pressure, and that's what I talked about earlier. All right, Jack. The big whistle.
I like that.
The big whistle.
San Diego has a 3rd down and 5. Luther throwing into a crowd. Eric Sievers was deep. He was right with the other tight end, Winslow, and that attracted a lot of blue shirts. There is the 2-minute warning. And only now are a few of these 64,000-plus fans starting to trickle out. They're savoring a sweet victory. They have lost 8 in a row to the Chargers. They will not lose tonight.
Heavy authority. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the National Football League is prohibited.
4th down, San Diego. 4th and 5. Ball at the 15-yard line. Luther. Incomplete, intended for Chandler. Dave Brown, who has been here from the beginning. Veteran allocation player from Pittsburgh, made the deflection.
A 1st-round draft choice for the Steelers out of Michigan. And Chuck Noll didn't think he measured up, but he has certainly measured up here for Seattle.
Dave Brown had played every game for 5 consecutive years until injured at the beginning of this season. He made the 4th down play. We'll be back in a moment.
Where you got your honorary doctorate, Alfred, 10-0 this year.
Alfred University, they are really doing a terrific job, aren't they?
New quarterback for Seattle is Dave Craig. Second-year man out of Milton. School of 600 students out in South Central Michigan. He hands off to David Hughes. Hughes runs into a whole lot of combat at the line of scrimmage. It'll be second down and 10.
We're winding down now. 1:40 left. The clock keeps running. Timeouts at this point seem absurd.
11 out of 22 for Jimmy Zorn. As you see, he's on the sideline giving way to a brand new quarterback.
At this point, if you're going to be honest, San Diego, one of the most disappointing teams in the league. And for Gene Klein, the owner, a deeply devoted man, I have sympathy, but this is a tough business.
Second down and 10. Sherman Smith outside. Sherman Smith, who's been running nicely here in the late stages of the third quarter and the fourth quarter. Gets 7 yards.
I think this is going to give him a lot of confidence for the future. Running better than he's run since the surgery.
How about
Third
that?
best total in Seahawk history.
And what a team to do it against, a team that you have never defeated. I want to thank our stat research man, Jerry Klein, of course, our spotter, Steve Mazika.
Hope Yaya's feeling better.
She'll be better. Final seconds ticking off. On 3rd and 3. Smith again. And Smith will have the first down. And San Diego, like true gentlemen, will not bother to stop it. Final seconds ticking off. And these are great fans here in Seattle. Most of them have stayed to savor the victory. And for this man, Don Coryell, who's dropped to 6-5 behind Denver at 8-3, Kansas City and 7-4, it must be quite hard to understand exactly what has happened. We'll be back in a moment. Don Coryell. This ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by the Buick Motor Division and your Buick dealer, who proudly announced the 1982 Buicks. And by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. Once again, the final score is 44-23, Seattle over San Diego. Remember, stay tuned for ABC News Nightline, 30 minutes after the game, 11:30 on the West Coast. Over most of these ABC stations. Travel arrangements made through at a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as a leader in sports television. We will see you from Atlanta with Minnesota next Monday.